Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Becomes the Ultimate Villain Soldier for All for One Part 1. Before we start, please go support King Joka for writing that awesome fanfic. Villain Files. Rin. League Archive. Third File. Rin. 5 months before the events of the third mission, the League's newly established Vanguard team, accompanied by Toga, had been sent on their first mission. All had run smoothly, that is until the group was captured an hour into their mission. 3 hours later, the group is being held prisoner in a desert military base. Toga, Compress, Magni, and Spinner can be seen in one of the jail cells. Toga. Ugh, it's so damn hot in here. Spinner. The hell do you expect? We're in a bucking desert. Toga. I know that, I'm just complaining since there's nothing else to do in here. Compress. Would you two please be quiet? Toga. Hey, it's her fault we got caught. Toga. How's it my fault? You're the one who just sunbathed in the middle of the base. Spinner. I can't help myself, it's biology. Magni. You're our vanguard here, you can't just give in to nature like that. Toga. God, why did I have to get stuck with you guys? I could be back at home nuzzling in bed with my Aizu-kun. Compress. In case you forgot, you're the head honcho when it comes to stealth. You oversee all the stealth missions. Toga. Oh yeah. But it's still not fair I had to miss my morning blood smoothie for this. Quiet down in there. The four villains look out their jail cell and see a black-haired woman in a military nurse uniform with a medical table. At least try to wait quietly while we decide what to do with you. Toga. Well, excuse us if we don't like being held prisoner by a bunch of military douchebags. One more word from you and I'll lock you up in solitary. Toga. TCH. Hitch. I heard that. Toga. I hope you did. Spinner. What do you want from us now? Our pride. I'm here to collect blood samples. Magni. What, why? We need them for identification purposes. Now either give it up peacefully or get tranquilized so we can get it. Compress. Not really giving us an option, are you? Fine, we'll cooperate, right? Toga. Yeah. After getting their blood samples, the female soldier leaves them to themselves. Spinner. Ow, I hate needles. Magni. Yet you carry so many swords. Compress. Toga, did you get it? Toga. Smile, yeah, got it. Work your magic. Toga says before tossing Compress a military communication device. Compress pulls out a pearl of his and decompresses it to reveal some sort of data chip. Compress plugs the chip into the device which causes the chip to turn red. Compress. Alright, the signal's being sent. All we need to do now is wait. Toga. Knowing my Aizu-kun, he'll be here within the minute. Magni. I sure hope so. After about 30 seconds since the transmission, a black portal opens up about 2 kilometers away from the base. From out of the portal walks Izuku, Twice, Dabi, and Katsuragi. The portal then transforms into the human shape of Kurogiri. Kurogiri. Alright, we should be nearby the base. Twice. Geez, this heat is unreal. And to think back home it's snowing. Izuku. Let's hurry and get this started. We need to complete the mission and rescue the others. Dabi. If I remember right, their mission was abduction, wasn't it? Katsuragi. Yes, they were meant to abduct the soldier with the regeneration quirk, right? Izuku. The commander, yes. Dabi. So on top of having to locate and rescue the others, we have to also locate and capture the commander. For God's sake, these idiots need a hell of a lot more training. Izuku. Agreed. Twice. So how do we go about this? Izuku. Simple. Kurogiri, Katsuragi, you two go rescue the others. Kurogiri. Understood. Katsuragi. Okay. Izuku. Dabi, Twice, I'll leave getting the target to you two. Dabi. Got it. Twice. Alright, but what about you? Izuku. I'll stay here. I'm the one taking care of the cleanup. Dabi. Sarcastically, no fair, you get the easiest job. Izuku. Heh, it's only natural when you've got the strongest abilities. Now go. D.K. Yes sir. The 4 League members make a mad dash in the direction of the base. Izuku on the other hand creates a chair, sits back and watches the proceedings. The 4 run up to and stand against the base wall. Kurogiri. I don't have the exact coordinates of Toga-sama and the others, so you'll need to do a bit of moving around, Katsuragi. Katsuragi. No problem. Just try and keep the portal open. Kurogiri nods before transforming into a portal. Katsuragi smiles and jumps through the portal. Once through, he finds himself in a military tent. His body turns transparent as he steps through the wall. Meanwhile, Twice and Dabi were walking in the shadows and looking for the commander. Twice. Now if I was an important commander, where would I be? Strange, usually you spot the target's location when you say something like that out loud. Abi. Shut up, you're gonna give away our location. Twice. Well then help me look. Abi. I'm the lookout, I'm busy making sure we don't get shot in the back. Anyways, look for the most important looking building. The commander's probably in there. Twice. Of course, that makes no sense, but I'll do it. Back with Katsuragi, after searching through the various buildings of the base, he comes across the others in the cell. Katsuragi. There they are. I just need to take care of the guard now. Spotting a metal thermos on the nearby table, Katsuragi smirks and puts his plan in action. He grabs the thermos and holds it up in front of the guard's face. Guard. What? My thermos is floating. Katsuragi takes advantage of the guard's dumbfoundedness and knocks him unconscious by slamming the thermos against his head. Spinner. Dang, he just got clocked. Toga. Katsuragi, is that you? Katsuragi. At your service. Katsuragi walks into the cell gate and seemingly merges with it. He opens the cell gate and walks out of it before becoming visible once more. Katsuragi. Still, to be captured on your very first mission. Big bro really isn't happy about this. Compress. I can imagine so. Katsuragi reaches into his pocket and pulls out what seems to be a button. He presses the button and Kurogiri immediately appears as a portal behind him. Katsuragi. Let's get going, shall we? Twice and Dabi can take care of the rest. The rescued group follow Katsuragi through the portal and find Izuku sitting in his chair. Izuku. You're all getting extra training as soon as we get home. Spinner. Geez, you really weren't kidding about him not being happy. Toga. Come on, Izuku-kun. At least overlook me just this once. I'll make it worth your while. Izuku. I'm afraid that if I do that, it'll only result in punishment from Master for you. Toga. Fair enough. Kurogiri. Twice and Dabi are taking their time. Do you think they need help? Right as Kurogiri says this, a massive blue tower of flames erupts from the center of the base. Izuku. I'd say no. Kurogiri. Ah, they just sent their coordinates. Izuku. Bring them here then. It's about time we wrap things up. Kurogiri. Understood. Kurogiri opens the portal and immediately Dabi and Twice jump through while restraining a gray-haired old man. Twice. It's a hit and stun, geezer. Twice yells as he uses his mechanical arm to tase the old man. This successfully renders the old man unconscious. Izuku. That's quite the entrance you two made. Dabi. What can we say, the old man didn't want to go down without a fight. Twice. So we had to calmly apprehend him. Izuku. And by doing so, you've alerted the entire base. Although, I suppose it doesn't matter now. Since it's time for the cleanup. Izuku says as he stands up from his chair. He walks in front of the group and places his hand on the sand. The wind around him starts picking up and the sand beneath Izuku flattens. Izuku. Sand tsunami. The sand in front of Izuku rises and forms a massive tidal wave made of sand. The tidal wave flows over and completely covers the desert base. Izuku. Giant sand burial. The massive sand mountain flattens with Izuku's yell and completely crushes the base and those inside it. Izuku. Mission complete. Search the old man's pockets for communication devices. If you find one, destroy it. I don't want us being tracked. Twice, yes boss. Spinner. No matter how many times I see it, I still can't get over how you can kill so many people in a split second. Izuku. It's not every day I can perform a move like that. I can only unleash this quirk's true destructive power in a desert. Toga. That's just like my Izuku. Cold-hearted in fights but really hot in other places. Izuku. Blush, please don't discuss such things in public, Himiko-sama. Twice. Hey compress. Compress. What is it, Twice? Twice. I thought you guys got caught before you ran into the commander. Compress. Yeah, why? Twice. Because I found one of your marbles in his pocket. Compress. What? That's impossible. I haven't compressed anything since we arrived. Izuku. Compress, I believe you, but facts don't lie. At least see if you can decompress it. Compress. Okay. Compress snaps his fingers, but to no avail, the marble doesn't decompress. Compress. It's not working. Izuku. Strange. While everyone is standing there confused, the marble starts glowing in Twice's hand. Twice drops the marble and it decompresses into a dark-haired girl panting on the ground. Blood can be seen from the corner of her mouth. Izuku. What? Spinner. She's. Toga. The nurse hitch. I'm alive whore. Izuku quickly goes into action and chops the girl in the back of her neck. This causes her to fall to the ground unconscious. Izuku. Who is the girl? Spinner. I'm pretty sure she's a military nurse. Agni. She came to our cell and drew our blood. Izuku. Drew your blood? Izuku bends down and wipes the blood on her face with his finger. He takes off his mask and his left eye glows blue. Izuku. As I thought, it's Compress's blood. Compress. My blood. Izuku places his hand on her face and his palm glows blue. Izuku. Sakazuki Rin, age 14. Her quirk is Blood Factor. It allows her to temporarily copy the quirks of those whose blood she drinks. Agni. A blood-based quirk, huh? Just like you, Toga-chan. Toga. TCH, my quirk is much better. Compress. I guess that explains how she was able to use my quirk. Abi. That's a pretty powerful quirk she's got there. What do you want to do with her, Izuya? Izuku. I already have All for One, so such a quirk is useless to me. But we're going home. And we're taking her with us. Toga. Why? Izuku. The League and I may have a use for her. I'll be putting her through a test to determine if she's worth it. Kurogiri. Kurogiri. I'm on it. Kurogiri turns into a portal leading back to the hideout. Izuku proceeds to pick up the girl and toss her over his shoulder. Toga. I've got a bad feeling about where this is going. Later, unknown area. The woman now known as Sakazuki Rin wakes up in a snow-covered forest. She raises her head from the snow and can see that she was fitted with a winter cloak. Izuku. Oh, looks like you're finally awake. Rin looks up to see the masked Izuku lying on an above tree branch. Rin. You're the guy who knocked me out. Izuku. That I am. Rin. What do you want with me? And where am I? Izuku. You're in an uncharted forest in Japan. As for what I want, well, frankly, it's you. Rin. What? Izuku. Your quirk has amazing potential, and I'd love to have it as a weapon for the League of Villains. Rin. Villain. As if I'd ever help criminals. Izuku. Calm down, I'm not forcing you to become a villain. Rin. What do you mean? Izuku. I'm going to be putting you through a test here. You'll be spending 1 week in this forest with me alone. At the end of the week, I'll kill you. Rin. Izuku. To avoid that, you have 2 options. You can either kill me and escape free as a bird, or submit to me and join the League. Don't even think of trying to run away. You've been marked, I can find you wherever you go. Rin. You bastard. Izuku. You've got 1 week. It's already nighttime, so I'm going to sleep. Good luck. Izuku says before immediately falling asleep on the tree branch. Rin. What's with this guy? Telling me to kill him or submit to him. And then bucking falling asleep. How did I get myself involved with such a maniac? I really don't like this, but there's no way in hell I'm getting myself killed by this guy. Rin stands up on her feet and walks around the forest. She comes back to Izuku's tree with a bunch of fallen sticks. She places the sticks around the tree and starts carving up 2 of them. She starts rubbing the sharpened stick on the other one. After rubbing for a while, the sticks catch a flame. She uses some discarded animal fur as kindle for the fire. Just as the tree starts to catch fire, however, water comes down from above and puts out the fire. Izuku. Nice try. Rin. Bastard, you were awake. Izuku. What? You think the smell of smoke wouldn't wake me up? Izuku says before standing up and jumping onto a branch of another tree. The tree then seems to freeze and get covered in ice. Izuku. You'll have to do better than that. Night. Izuku says before once more falling asleep. Rin. He's good. I need to think carefully about how to kill him. For now though, I need to make a new fire and build a shelter. Putting her words into action, Rin scours the forest for more fallen branches. She makes herself a small campfire and creates a little shelter from large tree branches. She falls asleep in the snow next to the fire. She wakes up the next morning to a delicious smell. She opens her eyes to find that her tree branch shelter was now a proper one-man tent. She exits the tent to see Izuku holding a frying pan over a purple flame. Izuku. A heavy sleeper, are you? Well, whatever, come and dig in. Rin cautiously approaches Izuku with a rock behind her back. She sits down on a log as Izuku approaches her. He proceeds to hand her a plate with bacon and eggs on it. Izuku. Eat up. It's not poisoned. Skeptical, she hesitantly takes a bite of a piece of bacon. Her eyes widen from the taste of the meat. Rin. It's delicious. Izuku. You've been in the military for 10 years, right? I'm sure any meal you'd eat now would be delicious. By the way, there's a natural hot spring nearby you can bathe in. Rin. How do you know I've been in the military for that long? Izuku. I saw into your memories while you were unconscious. I know a lot about you now. Rin. Why would you do that? That's my personal life you're invading. Izuku. Why? I have my reasons for doing so. You'll find out what they are soon enough. Rin. Okay. But why are you doing this? You gave me this cloak, that tent and the breakfast. I don't see the point in doing that if you're just going to kill me. Izuku. I have to keep you alive and healthy. You're a potential new recruit for the league after all. Rin. I'm not going to join your league. I'm gonna kill you and get the hell out of here. Izuku. Say what you want, you've got no chance of killing me. Rin. We'll see about that. And so the two went about their day. Izuku had spent the day casually listening to music or playing video games, while Rin developed and executed plans to kill him. From pitfall traps to flaming arrows, they all failed without giving Izuku so much as a scratch. Even at night, she tried stabbing him in his sleep with a sharpened rock, but his crystal skin blocked it. Come morning, Rin is once again treated to breakfast by Izuku. The next few days go by with Rin's assassination plans ranging from makeshift bows and arrows to sharpened rock spears and homemade toxins. Fourth day. Izuku is busy maintaining a fire, while Rin is busy eating stew for dinner. With a strange new confidence, Rin decides to speak to Izuku. Rin. Hey, what's your name? Izuku. What's this all of a sudden? Rin. It'd be weird if I didn't know the name of the person I'm trying to kill. Izuku. Well, whatever. You can call me Hero. I'm the League's ultimate soldier. Rin. We're you part of the League. If you've got powers like that, you could have easily become a top-tier hero. Izuku. TCH, I despise heroes. Besides, I haven't always had this power. It was gifted to me by my master. Rin. Master? Izuku. Yeah. He's the kind man who found me abandoned on the streets, took me in, and gave me a reason to live. Rin. If I ignore the fact that he's probably a villain, he actually sounds like a nice person. Izuku. We're similar, you know. Rin. Huh. How so? Izuku. We were both left on the streets as children and found shelter. Rin. How did my memories? Izuku. You lost your mother and were left alone at age 3. It's similar to me. The only difference is that you had happiness and lost it. I on the other hand gained it after despair. Rin. What do you know? I'm still Izuku. I can tell. You regret joining the military. Rin. Stop talking as if you know. Izuku. You keep thinking that you would have been happier if you remained back in Japan instead of finding that man. Rin. Shut up. Rin yells before throwing her bowl at Izuku. Izuku moves his head back and catches the bowl with the food in it. He walks up to her and places the bowl down in front of her. Izuku. You should think about what you want. In 3 days, you can either die in despair or be given happiness. Choose well. Izuku says before walking away into the woods. Rin simply watches Izuku walk away before looking down at her food. She can feel memories of her childhood being brought up from that talk. For the next 2 days, everything was quiet. Rin had not tried to kill Izuku or had said a word to him. 7th day. Izuku is sitting by a purple campfire by his lonesome. After checking his surroundings for Rin, he lifts his mask and drinks some water he sprouts from his hands. Izuku. What's going on here? She hasn't made a move since the other day. Did I cause her to lose her will to live with my little talk? Well, whatever. I wasn't really expecting much. Izuku's thoughts are interrupted as he hears movement in the snow behind him. He quickly places his mask back on his face and turns around. Behind him, he finds Rin. Steam can be seen coming off her body, implying that she came from the hot springs. Izuku. Oh, it's you. So, what do you want? Come to be killed. Rin. Izuku. Come on. Where's that sharp tongue of yours? Rin. Izuku. Have you given up on trying to kill me? Rin. Yes. Izuku. I see. So, what's your decision? Rin lowers her head at Izuku. She gets down on both her knees and looks up to him. Rin. I surrender to you. I will join your League of Villains. Izuku. Oh. What brought about this change? Rin. I don't want to die like this. I owe too much to someone to die here. Izuku looks at Rin silently for a moment before turning his head to the side and placing 2 fingers to the side of his head. Izuku. Kurogiri, take us to the room. Immediately after he says this, a dark portal opens in front of the two of them. Izuku turns his head slightly to Rin. Izuku. Come with me. Izuku says before walking through the portal. Rin hesitates for a moment before following Izuku through the portal. Once she crosses over, she finds herself and Izuku in a dark room. The room was only illuminated by a single hanging light bulb. Her eyes widen as she sees, sitting tied to a chair, her military commander. Rin. He's. Izuku. Your military commander, Sakazuki Rentaro. Your blood father if I am not mistaken. Rentaro. Rin. What the hell are you doing with that villain? Rin. Father. What's going on? Izuku. If you really want to join, then you need to truly prove yourself. Izuku says while rolling up his sleeve. A bright glow emanates from his arm and a handle sticks out of it. He grabs the handle and pulls out a revolver. He then takes the revolver by the barrel and holds it out to her. Izuku. Take it. This is your final test. Rin takes the revolver with shaky hands. Izuku then grabs the gun in her hand and holds it against his heart. Izuku. As a League member, you cannot allow your past to shackle the League's future. Sakazuki or Rin, I'm giving you two options, kill me and escape with your father, or kill your father and join the League. Rin. What? Izuku. I swear on my name as a soldier that if you kill me, you two will be able to safely escape from here and have normal lives. Rentaro. Do you hear that, Rin? We can go home and be free from all of this. All you have to do is pull the trigger. Rin. Aye. Izuku. Steady your trigger, you have already killed before, what is the difference now? Pull the trigger and kill me, the person who killed your comrades, kidnapped you and held you hostage for a week. Rentaro. You hear that, sweetie? He killed everyone, get revenge on their behalf, do it and we can start again. Izuku. You heard him, do what he tells you, do what the man who made you a killer tells you to do, kill me, it's your choice after all. Rin's hand shakes as her entire body starts shaking as well. Sweat forms on her face and her eyes start twitching slightly. Rentaro. What are you waiting for? Stop being a coward and kill him, just pull the damn trigger. Rin struggles for a moment with the gun in her hand before letting out a yell. She turns and points the gun at Rentaro with tears in her eyes. Rentaro's eyes widen while Rin's close as her fingers pull back on the trigger. A loud bang is heard, but Rin opens her eyes to see her father still alive. Rin. Huh? Izuku. I'm sorry, those were blanks. Izuku says while taking the gun from Rin and throwing it to the side. He walks in front of her and pats her head. Izuku. I know killing isn't something you find joy in, so I couldn't let you kill this asshole yourself. But congratulations, you passed my test. Welcome to the League. Rentaro. You traitorous little hitch, how dare you, I'm your father, I brought you into this world, I'm the only reason you're still alive to this day, I could have just left you on the streets too. Izuku. Shut up. The old man freezes up as he feels an aura of intimidation coming off Izuku. Izuku removes his hand from Rin's head and walks in front of Rentaro. Rentaro. What are you doing? Izuku. My duty. Izuku holds his palm up to the old man's face. Rentaro starts sweating nervously as Izuku's palm glows a deep purple before turning into a light blue. Izuku. As the ultimate soldier, I am tasked with protecting all League members from harm. You, who left her on the streets for a year, who only took her in for her power, who turned an innocent child who only wanted her father into a murderer, cannot be allowed to live. Rentaro. Wait, please. Rentaro's pleads are ignored by Izuku, and he's blasted by and consumed in blue flames. Once the flames die out, all that remains of the old man was a burnt skeleton lying in the ashes of the chair. Izuku turns back to look at the frightened Rin and walks towards her. Izuku. Rin, you are now officially a member of the League. From this point onwards, you will encounter situations where you will kill. If you cannot handle it, I will train you so you can. Tell me, do you think you can manage? Rin. Why yes, I've already killed in the past, so at this point I shouldn't be afraid. I did try to kill you after all. Izuku looks at her for a moment before grabbing hold of his mask. He takes it off to reveal his face and smile to Rin. Izuku. You asked me my name earlier. I'm Izuku, otherwise known as Hero. I serve as the League's ultimate soldier and recruitment agent. Sorry if the scar is unsightly. And sorry about your old man, I guess. Rin. It's alright, I would have killed him anyways. And I think that scar makes you look handsome. Izuku. Thanks. Now that all of that has been taken care of, I'd say it's time I introduced you to the others. Kurogiri. Kurogiri. Say no more. Kurogiri says while transforming into a portal. Izuku looks to Rin and takes her by the hand. Izuku. Shall we go? Rin. Why yes. Izuku walks through Kurogiri with Rin close behind him. The two appear in the middle of the bar where everyone was. Tamura. Well, look who's back. Twice. My cyborg brother, you're home. Toga. Aizu-kun. Izuku looks to see Toga running up to him. She jumps at him, wraps her arms around his neck and wraps her legs around his waist while nuzzling against his face. Toga. I missed you so much, Aizu-kun, a week without you has been so boring, I've been craving your blood like crazy, come on, let's go back to our room, and It is at this point that Toga notices a shocked Rin standing behind Izuku. Toga. The nurse hitch. Why are you still alive? Rin. I passed the test, what the hell are doing to him? Toga. I'm his partner, this is normal for us. Abi. Unfortunately, that's the truth. Tamura. Disgusting is what it is. Afo. Izuku. Izuku, Toga, and Rin look behind them to see Afo standing right there. Toga quickly lets go of Izuku out of fear of getting punished. Izuku gets down on one knee in front of his master. Rin follows suit and does the same. Izuku. It is good to see you still in good health, master. Afo. A week won't turn me into a weak old man. Now, I suppose she is the new recruit you told me about. Izuku. Yes, she is, master. Afo. Then why don't you introduce her? Izuku. Understood, master. Izuku and Rin stand up and face the other league members. Izuku. Allow me to formally introduce you all to the newest member of the assault team. This is Rin, she'll serve as the medical member of our team. I'll be personally training her how to use quirks to their maximum potential. Toga. Personal training. No fair. Rin. Lucky me. Hatsuragi. Big bro's training is pretty rough, you better brace yourself. Twice. We got a nurse now. I'll buy the uniforms. Rin. Please don't. Dabi. You can try and stop him, but he'll do it. Izuku. It may be intense at times, but you'll see that life in the league can be pretty fun. Rin. If I'm with you, then I'm sure it will be. Izuku. Smile, that's good to hear. Kurogiri, pour some drinks tonight, we celebrate. Third file. Concluded. Fourth mission. Lost cause. 10:03 AM, League of Villains hideout. In the League of Villains underground training facility, Shigaraki, Kurogiri, and the Nomu are at the center of a group of thugs. Shigaraki scratches his neck as he grows impatient from waiting. Tamura. Oi, Kurogiri. What's taking the brat so long? He already missed Sensei's final briefing. Kurogiri. He was called by Rin-san earlier. I'm sure he'll be back soon. Tamura. For God's sake, I'm getting impatient. What about the Nomu? You sure he's ready for battle? Kurogiri. Rest assured, Nomu is ready to kill at your command. Tamura. And what about you? Are you ready, Kurogiri? Kurogiri. Yes, I am ready for today's mission. Just then, the training facility's door opens and reveals Izuku walking in with his mask on. Tamura. You're late. Izuku. Forgive me, Tamura-sama. I already received master's orders via my communication device. Kurogiri. You sound to be in a better mood than yesterday, did something happen? Izuku. It was nothing of importance. Tamura. Whatever, switch in already, hero. Izuku's eye loses its signs of life behind his mask and he switches into his emotionless state. Izuku. Awaiting orders, Tamura-sama. Tamura. Go and address the troops. Izuku. Understood. Following Tamura's orders, Izuku stands in front of the group of thugs. Izuku. You have all been given your orders. You will all be teleported to your designated areas. Stick to the plan laid out before you. Failure or insubordination will not be tolerated. Any questions? Random thug. Yeah, who gets the credit for taking down All Might? Izuku. The League and only the League. Random thug. And what do we get? Izuku. You are entitled to nothing. You were only chosen by chance. Random thug. So you're telling me we put our necks on the line and walk away with nothing, that's unfair. Tamura. Unfair you say? Hero, how about you show them what kind reward they'd receive for a job well done? Izuku. Understood. Understanding Tamura's order, Izuku walks up to the thug who spoke up. He then grabs the thug by the throat and holds him up in the air. Gasping for air, the thug tries his hardest to break free, but to no avail. Using his free hand, Izuku presses a hidden switch on his mask, which activates a mechanism that opens up a slot for his mouth. Purple gas then spews forth from his mouth and surrounds the thug's head. Izuku then lets go and the thug drops to the floor dead. Tamura. How's this for a reward? Follow the orders faithfully and you get to live. And just so you know, not even all of you together can hope to take us on. With that, the thugs are now silenced with the fear of death burned into their minds. Tamura. Looks like that did the trick. Let's get this show on the road already. Toga. Wait. Tamura looks back to the door to see Toga running up to them. Izuku. Himiko-sama, what are you doing here? Toga. I'm going with you on this mission. Izuku. That is not part of Master's plan. Toga. I don't care. I'm your partner and I'm not letting you go through this by yourself. So I order you to let me go with you. Izuku. I will not. This mission is too dangerous for you. Toga. What are you talking about? You're supposed to obey my orders and it's not like it's directly violating the big boss's orders, so why? Izuku. It's because. Tamura. Well, isn't this interesting? Let her come, hero. That's an order from your leader. Izuku. Understood, Tamura-sama. Toga. Thanks, Tamura. Just like Dabi said. 7:53 AM, League of Villains hideout, Dabi's room. Toga. Yawn, what's the deal, pulling me away from my Aizu-kun so early in the morning? Dabi. I'll make this quick, so pay attention. You have to go on today's mission. Toga. What, why? Abi. Things won't go as the master planned today. And I can tell that Tamura is up to something. Toga. There you go again with those weird suspicions of yours. Abi. Believe me or don't, it's up to you. But I know you don't want to be away from him after yesterday. Toga. Yeah, you're right. But how am I supposed to go on the mission? It's not like I can just join it. Abi. If Tamura is planning what I think he's planning, he'd be happy to give Hiro a weakness. Bringing you along would definitely create a weakness. Toga. But it sounds like we'd be helping Tamura in his plan. Abi. That's the only way we can help Izuya. Trust me, I'd come and help if I could, but Tamura would be suspicious and weary of me if I decided to join for no reason. Just let them know you want to help Izuya. Tamura'll probably think you won't have any ulterior motives. Present time. Toga. What are you planning to do with my Izu-kun, Tamura? Tamura. So, let's begin. Tamura says as he snaps his fingers. Kurogiri snaps into action and transforms into multiple portals. The thugs walk through one by one until the 3 League members and the Nomu remain. Tamura takes the first step through with Nomu and Izuku walking behind him and Toga walking behind them. They cross the portal into what appears to be a dome-shaped building. Far ahead of them at the top of the stairs at the entrance were a group of kids Izuku and Toga's age, as well as 2 older people. Izuku's eye glows blue behind his mask as he uses scan to identify all of them. Izuku. Pro Hero, Eraserhead, identified. Pro Hero, 13, identified. 11 unknown male students identified. 9 female students identified. Target, All Might, not located. Tamura. After all the trouble we went through to gather all these thugs, he decides to bail on us. Maybe he'll show up if we kill some kids. Just then, Eraserhead jumps from the top of the stairs and launches himself into the mob of thugs. Tamura. Eraserhead's making moves, huh? These low-tier thugs won't be able to take him down. He's good at close combat and those goggles make it hard to tell whose quirk he's erasing. Izuku. Tamura-sama, your orders. Tamura. Let's just let him wear himself down for now. Kurogiri, go make sure the kids don't try to escape. Kurogiri, yes Tamura. Kurogiri says as he warps to the entrance. Tamura. Hiro, make yourself useful and give me a drink. Izuku. Yes, Tamura-sama. Izuku says as he creates a little table and a few bottles of alcohol and glasses. He then proceeds to mix together the drinks for Tamura. Toga. You're pretty laid back for a mission this serious. Tamura. I've no reason to be stressed. This isn't my first mission, you know. I know for a fact that everything will go exactly as I planned. Tamura says as he grabs the drink Izuku made for him. Tamura places his father's hand on the table and takes a sip of his drink. Izuku goes back to standing by the Nomu while Toga concentrates on Tamura. Toga. What the hell is he planning? What move is he going to make? I can't see through his expression. After standing motionless next to Nomu for a while, Izuku receives a transmission in his head. Afo. Hiro, status report. Izuku, yes master. Contrary to the schedule obtained by Tamura-sama, All Might was not found here. Pro Heroes 13 and Eraserhead are here. 13 and the students are being taken care of by Kurogiri. Eraserhead is currently in combat with the forces we gathered. Tamura-sama is taking focus of the fighting and Himiko-sama is taking focus of Tamura-sama. Nomu remains inactive and I detect no signs of All Might arriving. Afo. I see. Knowing All Might, he'll arrive soon enough to protect his students. I expect you to protect the others until All Might arrives. Izuku, yes master. The transmission ends with that. Afo and the doctor are currently watching the events through Izuku's eye camera. Doctor? It's strange though. I wonder what Shigaraki is thinking, bringing Toga along like that. Afo? Perhaps he's grown overconfident. He could also be planning on swapping her out with one of the students. Independent thinking is fine, but he should be discussing his plans with me. Doctor? Well, I'm sure we'll be able to see how his plan unfolds. Back at USJ. Izuku is still standing motionless next to Nomu. He continues to remain motionless until he notices something at the water area. He uses his mechanical eye to zoom in on the water and can see a whirlpool forming out of nowhere. Izuku uses overclock to slow down his perspective. This lets him see that a girl running on the surface of the water is causing the whirlpool. He lifts his finger and is about to blast her. That is until Tamura lifts 4 fingers up to stop him. Tamura. Stand down, Hiro. You attack when I tell you to. Understood. Izuku. Yes, Tamura-sama. Tamura. Still, it might be time I make my move against Eraserhead. Tamura said while placing the hand back on his face. He stands up and throws his glass on the ground. He then dashes towards Eraserhead. Eraserhead. The final boss. Eraserhead yells while raising his hair and extending his scarf to Tamura. Tamura reacts quick enough and grabs the scarf. Eraserhead uses the opening and runs towards him. He pulls on the scarf and attempts to elbow Tamura. His elbow, however, is caught in Tamura's palm. Eraserhead grits his teeth as his hair falls. His elbow then starts to decay. Tamura. It's not exactly easy to notice, but there's an instance when your hair drops. That's when you reach the limit on your quirk. The more you use it, the shorter the time in between those instances get. Eraserhead clicks his tongue before his hair raises again. He then attempts to punch Tamura, but is met with Izuku's boot in his face. Tamura. I thought I said. Izuku. Master's order. Protection of League members take priority. Tamura. Of course. I almost forgot about that. Well, whatever. I've got to give you credit, Eraserhead. You're not a hero who's suited for long fights and mobs, yet you jumped straight in. Was it to put your students at ease? Tamura says as the villains around Eraserhead start attacking. He barely manages to deal with them and turns to Tamura and Izuku while raising his hair. Tamura. Not bad. By the way, hero, I'm not the final boss. Eraserhead looks behind him as he feels a heavy presence. Behind him stands the towering figure of the Nomu. Before Eraserhead can move, he's knocked down to the ground, hard. Nomu proceeds to slam his fist onto his back a few times before just sitting on him and pulling his arm back hard enough to break it. Tamura. Meet the bioengineered anti-symbol of peace, Nomu. Nomu twists Eraserhead's broken arm even further and causes him to yell out in pain. Tamura. Being able to erase quirks is wonderful, but not impressive. When faced with overwhelming power, you may as well be quirkless. Eraserhead weakly turns his head to look at Nomu and tries to erase his quirk. Nomu simply steps on and crushes his unbroken arm. Tamura. Erasing his quirk won't get you anywhere. His strength is beyond that. Nomu pulls Eraserhead's head up and slams his face into the floor, creating a crater. Tamura smiles behind his hand mask as Kurogiri materializes next to him. Tamura. Kurogiri, did you manage to kill 13? Kurogiri. I put 13 out of action, but was unable to disperse some of the students. One of them managed to escape. Tamura. Kurogiri, you're lucky you're Warp Gate. Otherwise you'd be dead where you stand. Anyways, we're in trouble here. Even for us, taking on a bunch of pros might be trouble. I guess we should make our leave. But before we do, let's injure the symbol of peace's pride. Tamura says before dashing towards the water area faster than the eye can see. He places his hand on one of the students hiding in the water. Nothing however happens to the green-haired girl. Tamura. Damn it. You're really cool, you know, Eraserhead. Tamura looks over his shoulder to see Eraserhead looking at him with his red eyes. Nomu slams Eraserhead's face back into the ground. In the next instance, the purple-haired girl next to her quickly jumps out of the water, tries to kick Tamura. Purple girl. Get your hands off of her. In the split second she blinks, her foot and leg are grabbed by Izuku and Nomu. Izuku. Death to those who threaten the young master. Tamura. You're fast, but not fast enough to beat these two. Send her to hell, hero. Izuku. Yes, Tamura-sama. Izuku says as he sharpens his free arm. The girl in the water slaps Tamura's hand away and sticks her tongue out to stop Izuku. Tamura reaches both his hands to touch the two water-bound students. He's about to turn them to dust, but stops at the sound of the entrance doors being blown off their hinges. Everyone turns their attention to the entrance, and the students smile with hope as they see the angered face of the symbol of peace. All Might. It's fine now, I am here. Purple Grapist. All Might. Green Girl. Ribbit. Izuku. All Might. Toga. He's really here. Tamura. Seems the fun finally gets to start. Afo. The true fight finally begins, eh? DHUG-1. That's All Might. DHUG-2. It's my first time seeing him in person. DHUG-3. He's so intimidating. DHUG-4. Idiots, don't hesitate if you do, we're all gonna get killed, just try and. Before the thug can finish speaking, he, along with all the other thugs, is knocked unconscious by All Might. Izuku reacts quickly enough, dashes towards Toga, and guards her from the attack. All Might reappears holding Izawa in his hands. All Might, sorry Izawa. He turns around and faces Nomu and Tamura. He dashes behind them and grabs the three students, while also managing to kick Tamura in the back of the head. Toga. Tamura. Izuku. Tamura-sama. All Might drops the three kids and Izawa down on the ground. Rapist. Huh. What? All Might. Go and take Izawa to the entrance. Now. Purple Girl. Why yes sir. Green Girl. Ribbit. Tamura. He struck me while saving them. Tamura says as he picks up the hand that got knocked off his face. Tamura. I couldn't follow him with my eyes. But he's not as fast as I thought he'd be. I guess it's true, smile, he's gotten weaker. All Might lunges towards Tamura with his arms crossed. All Might. Carolina. Tamura. Nomu. Nomu hears Tamura's call and jumps in front of him. All Might. Smash. All Might uncrosses his arms and cross-chops Nomu in the chest. He looks up to see Nomu completely unfazed. Nomu tries to grab him, but All Might leans back and avoids him. All Might. No effect. All Might yells as he punches Nomu in the gut. Yet again, there's no effect. All Might. In that case. All Might proceeds to deliver 2 hard blows to Nomu's face. Still, absolutely no effect. All Might. Not on the face either, eh? Tamura. Your punches won't do anything against Nomu's shock absorption. It'd be more effective to gouge out his flesh slowly. Not that he'd let you. All Might. If that's true, then it's a lot easier for me. All Might says as he circles around Nomu and grabs him by the waist. He performs a suplex on Nomu that causes an explosive dust cloud. The dust cloud clears to reveal Nomu's upper torso being sent through a portal that leads directly under All Might. Nomu's fingers are digging into All Might's sides. Blood can be seen dripping from All Might's mouth. Tamura. Were you trying to implant him in the concrete? You can't stop him like that. He's as strong as you after all. Nomu squeezes on All Might's sides even harder, which causes more blood to leak out. All Might lets go of Nomu's waist and tries to free himself. All Might. You better prepare yourselves. I'm not gonna go easy on you after this. Tamura. Kurogiri. Kurogiri. Normally, I don't like guts and blood overflowing within me. But for someone as great as you, I can make an exception. Nomu's job was restraining you. Tearing you in half is mine. Purple girl. All Might. The purple-haired girl from earlier appears right in front of All Might. Kurogiri appears in front of her and opens a portal. Kurogiri. How foolish. Before she can get warped away though, Kurogiri gets blasted by an explosion from a blonde girl coming out of nowhere. Blonde. Out of the way, Mary. The blonde girl grabs Kurogiri by his metal neckpiece and slams him into the ground. Blonde. Eat this. The ground starts freezing and the majority of Nomu's body gets covered in ice. The ice can be seen coming from a girl with half red, half white hair. Dual girl. I heard you were here to kill All Might. Mary. You guys. With Nomu's grip loosened because of the freezing, All Might breaks free. A red-haired boy jumps into the scene and tries to attack Tamura. Tamura however, manages to easily dodge. Indeed. Damn, I didn't get to show off. Blonde. Not so stuck up now, are you, Foggy? Dual girl. The symbol of peace can't be killed by the likes of you. Tamura. Seems like our escape route has been apprehended. Toga, Nomu. Toga. Got it. Toga launches her needles at the students and causes all of them, except the blonde who blasts it away, to jump back. Nomu lifts himself out of the portal at the cost of losing his arm and leg. They both, however, manage to regrow almost instantly. All Might. What? I thought his quirk was shock absorption. Tamura. Who said that was all he had? Nomu has super regeneration. Modified to take you on at 100%, Nomu is a super efficient human sandbag. How about we get our escape route back? Nomu. Nomu dashes at the blonde holding Kurogiri hostage and throws a heavy punch. This causes a massive backdraft and sends a figure flying into a wall. Once the smoke clears, it is revealed that the blonde was with the other students and All Might was the one being knocked back. Tamura. Protecting the kid, how heroic of you. Blonde. All Might. All Might. Not holding back, are you? Tamura. I didn't have a choice. It was to rescue my comrade. Besides, that purple one was about to kick me with all she had. Violence for the sake of others is admirable. It makes me mad that the world categorizes the same violent acts as heroic or villainous. Some symbol of peace you are. You're just a tool used to repress violence. Violence will bring about more violence. This will be known by the world once you die. All Might. Don't mess with me. I know you just want to enjoy this yourself. Tamura. Hehehehe, already figured me out, have you? Dual girl. It's 5 volts 5. Indeed. These guys are nuts, but if we back up All Might, we can push them back. All Might. No run away. Dual girl. You would have been in trouble if I hadn't done anything back there, right? All Might. That was a different story, young Todoroki. Thanks. But it's fine now. Just watch as this pro gives it everything he's got. Tamura. Nomu, Kurogiri, get him. Hero, Toga, help me deal with the kids. All Might. I will do this. Tamura makes a mad dash for the students with Izuku and Toga following behind him. All Might. As the symbol of peace. All Might yells as dashes towards Tamura, causing him to stop dead in his tracks. Nomu dashes from behind Tamura and clashes fists with All Might. This creates a shockwave that knocks everyone back. The two begin trading blows powerful enough to create a constant gale repelling everyone. All Might. Shock absorption and shock nullification are two different things, you know absorption means you've got a limit. Nomu punches All Might in his wound. All Might reels back from the pain, but pushes on and continues to attack at full force. All Might. If you were made to fight me at 100%, I'll just have to beat you beyond that. All Might's punches begin to pick up speed, and Nomu can be seen being pushed back. All Might's punches seem to be getting stronger with each and every hit. All Might. Hey villain, have you ever heard these words? All Might reels his fist back and builds up a tremendous amount of power. All Might. Go beyond. All Might thrusts his fist into Nomu's gut with all his might. The power from the punch seems to almost irradiate light upon impact with Nomu. All Might. Plus Ultra. Nomu is sent flying by the punch and crashes straight through the dome. The vibrations from attack is felt by literally everyone in the dome. Toga. No way. The Nomu. Kurogiri. He was defeated. Doctor. Seems this mission is a failure. Afo. It matters not. I've confirmed my suspicions. All Might. I really have gotten weaker. In my heyday, 5 hits would have been enough. But now, it took over 300. All Might turns to face Tamura. Steam can be seen coming off his body. All Might. Now, villains. I'm sure we'd all like to end this as soon as possible. Tamura. Do you really think I'm naive enough to fall for such an obvious bluff? All Might. You think I'm bluffing? If you're so confident that I am, just come and attack me. Tamura. Hero, give me a scan. Izuku. Target, All Might. Vital signs, weak. Time limit, near reached. Status, killable. Ally forces, still mobile. Kurogiri. Even with just the 4 of us, we can kill you if you're this weak. Toga. Reinforcements will be here any minute though. Tamura. All the more reason not to hesitate. Tamura says as he, Kurogiri and Izuku run towards All Might. Tamura reaches his hand at All Might, but he stops as he gets shot in the hand. Tamura. What? All Might. Heh, just on time. Gathered at the entrance, a group of pro-heroes can be gathered at the entrance. Standing in front of them is a blue-haired boy dressed like he's a vehicle from Initial D. Blue boy. I, Tenya Iida, Class 1 representative, have now returned. The remaining conscious thugs open fire and try to attack the pros. They're immediately taken down by President Mick yelling Ectoplasm's clones. Tamura. TCH, the teachers are here. The pro-hero Snipe tries to shoot Tamura, but his shots get blocked by Izuku jumping in front of Tamura and crystallizing his body. The 3 can then feel themselves being sucked in by 13's quirk. Izuku sharpens his legs and digs them into the ground to stop them from getting sucked in. He lifts his arm up into the air and points his fist into the sky. Magma coats his arm and gets launched at the pros. Izuku. Great eruption. This forces 13 to cease their black hole and absorb the magma instead. Toga. Hey, we've got to leave now before we get caught. Tamura. Yeah, I guess it's time for the showstopper. Afo. Showstopper. Tamura walks up to Izuku and places his hand on his neck. Tamura. Hero, your body is completely healed after the previous mission, yes? Izuku. Yes, it is, Tamura-sama. Tamura. Meaning, you can fight at full force, right? Izuku. Yes, Tamura-sama. Tamura. Smirk good. Consider this my parting gift, heroes. Hero, kill them all. Izuku. As you wish, Tamura-sama. Doga and Afo. What? Tamura. Toga, you stay here and try to bring him back alive. See ya. Kurogiri. Forgive me, Hero, Toga. The 2 of them warp away leaving Izuku and Toga. Afo. Hero, ignore that order and escape immediately. Afo. Hero Izuku, respond. Doctor. Something's wrong, I can't reach his communication device, something is interfering with the signal. Afo. I thought the signal couldn't be interfered with. Doctor. It can't, at least not through something as minuscule as a signal jamming quirk. Toga. Hero, let's get out of here, that's an order. Izuku. Order interferes with Tamura-sama's order. Izuku walks up to Toga and holds his palm in front of her face. Izuku. Glass box. Water sprouts from Izuku's palm and freezes into a cube around her. The frozen cube then gets crystallized. Toga. Hero, what are you doing? Izuku. Defending League member. Izuku turns around to look up at the pros gathered by the entrance. He looks to his left to see All Might still standing there. Izuku slowly begins walking towards him. He stops however as his feet get frozen to the ground. He turns around to see the dual-haired girl freezing the ground. Todoroki. You're not taking another step forward. All Might is then sealed off in a dome created from the concrete. Izuku looks back at the entrance to see the source of the interference as the pro, Cementus. So you're the famous hero killer, Hero. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Nezu, the principal here. Allow me to repay you for how you've treated my students. Izuku remains motionless and simply stares at the rat-bear hybrid. The ice around his feet melt and vaporize into steam. Izuku looks at his right hand and opens and closes it as if to check something. Once he's done, he shifts his gaze back to the heroes and starts slowly walking towards them. While walking, he grabs two still unconscious thugs by their heads without stopping. Dragging the bodies with him, Izuku stops after a few steps. His hands turn black, and a black star forms on the backs of both of them. With swift motion, Izuku tosses both thugs at high speed and sends them crashing into a blonde and pink-haired hero. Mech. What? Ectoplasm. Such power. Nezu. All of you kids, go outside with Aizawa now, leave this to your teachers. The students follow their principal's orders and quickly run outside. The four students nearby Izuku run towards the stairs. Izuku turns his head to them and holds up his left palm to them. A purple fireball forms in his palm and he gets ready to toss it. Before he can throw it, however, the flames turn red and cover Izuku's hand. Izuku looks at his hand to see the skin on it burning. Izuku cancels the fire and looks at his slightly burned hand. Hound dog. Grower. Izuku looks to see Hound dog jumping at him from the top of the stairs. Hound strikes Izuku, causing his upper body to bend backwards as if it were a piece of paper being folded. Hound dog remains still, thinking he's won, only to be shocked when Izuku's upper body bends back to normal. Izuku then punches him hard in the gut, knocking the wind out of him. Izuku blasts him with high-pressure water and sends him flying into the stairs, leaving him lying in a crater. Izuku. Boost. Power drive. The black coloration on Izuku's arms fade and transfers onto his legs. Izuku vanishes and reappears on top of the concrete dome surrounding All Might. He lifts up his right leg and crystallizes his foot. He slams his heel into the dome and crashes through it. In there he finds a giant hole, but no signs of All Might. He jumps out of the dome and uses scan to search for All Might. He locates him back at the entrance with the other pros. Nezu. Did you think we were going to make this easy for you? Right as he says this, a pair of metal arms burst out of the ground and pull Izuku's legs in the holes. Our loader. Gotcha. The sound of gunfire rings through Izuku's ears as he can see high-speed bullets heading his way with overclock. He crystallizes his body and tanks the shots. Izuku uncrystallizes his body and creates an electric current. This electrocutes the underground hero, causing him to let go of Izuku's legs. Izuku creates pseudo-limbs and lifts his legs out of the holes. He notices Snipe standing at the base of the stairs with his gun pointed at him. Izuku reaches into his coat and pulls out his sword gun. He makes a mad dash for Snipe as he fires shots at Izuku. Izuku doesn't stop as the bullets land and damage him. Izuku gets close and thrusts the blade of his gun in Snipe's stomach. Snipe. Aya. Izuku pulls the blade out and fires 2 shots in his kneecaps. This causes Snipe to fall to the ground. Izuku stamps his heel onto Snipe's fingers, successfully breaking them. Snipe screams out in pain as Izuku fires another shot in his back. Vlad. You little bastard. Vlad charges at Izuku and creates a spiked gauntlet with his blood. Izuku. Liquefy. Vlad punches at Izuku only for his body to turn to a black liquid and get splattered. Vlad. What the? Quirk 27. Matter manipulation. Allows the user to shift their body between the 3 states of matter. This lets them become a liquid, solid, or gas when they need to. However, being a liquid does not mean they are immune to the feeling of pain. Izuku. Vaporize. The black liquid on the floor rises off the ground and turns into a black mist. The black mist swirls around Vlad. Before he realizes it, Vlad feels something wrap around his throat. The black mist solidifies back into Izuku with his hands wrapped around Vlad's neck. Izuku squeezes harder as Vlad continues to struggle for air. Out of the corner of his eye, Izuku notices a pink mist forming. Izuku turns around and sees the mist coming from the Pro-Midnight. Izuku tosses Vlad to the side and runs towards Midnight. He, however, is cut off as the concrete rises and forms a wall. Mick. Hey, punk. Izuku turns around to see Present Mick a good distance behind him. Mick. Yeah. Present Mick lets out an ear-deafening yell that causes Izuku's ears to start bleeding. Izuku calmly rolls up his sleeve, creates a pair of soundproof headphones from his arm, and equips them. From both sides of him, Izuku sees 2 ectoplasms approaching. They try to kick at him, but he leans back and avoids them both. While leaning back, he holds his arms out to the side. He then quickly leans forward and crosses his arms like an X. The 2 ectoplasms fall to the ground in sliced bits before turning to ectoplasmic goop. Izuku. Demon stitching. Quirk 26. String loaded. Grants the user the ability to emit strings from their hands. These strings are sharp enough to cut through steel itself. Izuku stands up straight and fires a laser at Present Mick with his finger. The laser pierces through the center of his chest and causes him to fall to the ground. Izuku takes the headphones off and using scan, locates All Might, Ectoplasm and Nezu near Hound Dog. Nezu. Seems he spotted us. Ectoplasm. Let's go Hound Dog. Ectoplasm and Hound Dog run towards Izuku with full power. Izuku sharpens his finger and slices the skin of his arm. Using the blood dripping from his arm to create a shield that blocks Ectoplasm's kick and Hound Dog's punch. Ectoplasm. This is. Nezu. So it's as I thought, you are him. Or rather, his successor. The blood shield morphs into spikes and stabs straight through Ectoplasm's leg and Hound Dog's fist. Pseudo arms come out from Izuku's cloak and spread in different directions. The arms grab each of the heroes and throw them against the concrete wall. Izuku. Birdcage. Izuku crystallizes his hand and stabs his fingers into the ground. In the next instance, strings rise out of the ground and arch above the heroes to form a cage. Midnight. Shit, we're caught. Ectoplasm. What's he doing now? Nezu. Stay on your guard. Izuku pulls his fingers out of the ground and stands up to face the pros. Without looking away, he raises his hand up with his palm facing up. Electricity sparks run all over his body and accumulate around his hand. The electricity suddenly turns red and the sparks become more hectic. In a bright flash, a blast of electricity similar to lightning shoots from Izuku's hand and creates a massive hole through the ceiling. Midnight. W what? All Might. Did he miss? Mick. Ow, this hole in my chest thinks otherwise. Cementus. He's probably planning something. Nezu focuses his beady little eyes on the sky above them through the hole. Dark storms clouds generating red lightning gather above them. Izuku clenches his fist which causes the clouds to turn into a raging storm. Nezu. Cementus, give us barriers as many and as thick as possible. Cementus slams his hands onto the ground and seals them off in a dome within the cage. A second dome forms over the cage and a third forms over that. Izuku cocks back his fist sparking with red electricity before punching downwards. Izuku. Take Mikazuchi Pillar of God. The massive red pillar of lightning crashes through the ceiling onto the heroes going straight through the domes. The pillar dissipates as quickly as it appears. Izuku walks towards the domes and replaces each one with sand until he reaches the center. There he finds the heroes barely alive. Izuku emits water from his hand and seals the heroes in a water bubble. He emits electricity from his other and reaches to touch the bubble. He stops however as the bubble destabilizes and collapses. Nearby, Toga's glass box uncrystallizes. Izuku. What? What's going on here? What happened to my water bubble? Wait, I'm me again. Izuku looks around the area and sees something glistening against a broken piece of concrete. Izuku runs towards it and finds a mirror attached to it via purple ball. Reflected in the mirror, he sees Eraserhead glaring at him. Izuku. Eraserhead, he's still alive. Izuku punches the mirror and shatters it. He then turns around and starts walking back to the heroes. Izuku. I can't switch back, but my mission remains the same. Enjoy your final moments. Huh? Izuku stops as he hears something moving towards him from two different directions. He crystallizes his upper body to block a punch from the purple-haired girl from earlier and a kick from the blue-haired boy from earlier. Mary. Ow, what's with this guy's body? Ida. It's like kicking diamonds. Izuku. Rebound. Izuku uncrystallizes his body and seems to vibrate before repelling the two students. Quirk 21. Super Flex. Through the power of flexing all their muscles, the user can repel any nearby opponents and objects within a small radius. The two students get back up on their feet and stand in front of their teachers. From out of the shadows, 16 other students appear and stand to defend their teachers. Todoroki. We're not letting you hurt our teachers any further. Nezu. You all stay back. Ida. With all due respect sir, you're all in no condition to tell us not to fight. Ponytail Girl. We will hold him off until further reinforcements arrive. Izuku. You'll hold me off. You weak brats. Mary. The hell are you calling a brat? You sound at least our age. Blonde. You're the hero killer, hero, right? I'm gonna make you pay for what you did to Uncle Hisashi. Izuku feels a sharp pain in his head from hearing Hisashi's name. He shrugs it off and looks back at the students. Izuku. My mission here is to kill all of you. I was going to save you brats for last, but it looks like you don't get that mercy anymore. Erasing my quirk was a mistake. I can be a lot more brutal when I'm me. Indeed. Is it me, or does he seem a little different? Mary. Think the teachers might have knocked a few screws loose. Todoroki. Get serious already. He's a murderer. Izuku. Murderer. Ha, that's such a vague term. I am a soldier. Without anyone so much as blinking, Izuku leaps forward and grabs the redeemed boy by the face. He then slams his head into the concrete. Ponytail girl. Kirishima-kun. Mary. He's fast. Bird boy. I couldn't see him move. Izuku. A murder will kill due to personal feelings. I kill because it is my objective. Kirishima. Ow, that would have been bad if I hadn't hardened. Izuku. A hardening quirk, eh? Izuku lifts up his foot and holds it above the boy's face. He powers up his leg with boost and sharpens his foot. Izuku. Die. Bird boy. Not so fast. The bird boy opens his cloak and sends a black entity towards Izuku. The shadow grabs Izuku and pulls him closer. Bird boy. How's that? Izuku. HMPH, nice try. Izuku turns to liquid and seeps through the shadow's fingers. Bird boy. What the? Electric boy. Look out, Tokoyami. The liquid Izuku rises from the ground and tries to stab the bird boy. The bird boy however gets saved by the purple-haired girl grabbing and pulling him out of the way. Tokoyami. Thanks, Kichiki-san. Tape boy. What's with this guy? It's like he's got multiple quirks. Todoroki. He's probably like that beast from earlier. Izuku. As if. Nomu doesn't compare to me. I'm not artificial. Izuku says as he reforms and takes out his sword gun. He holds out his left hand and creates an identical gun. Ponytail girl. That's like my quirk. Izuku. Oh, is it? So you have a similar quirk to this one. Let's see which is superior. Izuku leaps into the air and fires rounds at the girl. She reacts quickly and creates a shield to block the bullets. Izuku descends and slashes at the shield with his blades. From his sides he sees a muscular boy in a yellow suit and an octopus-like creature run at him. Izuku creates two pseudo-limbs holding his twin pistols and fires at them both. The bullets are deflected and blocked by the red and dual-colored girl's eyes. Izuku. Shambles. Izuku places one of his hands on the girl's shield and swaps it with a bunch of feathers. He then knees the girl in the gut and sends her rolling across the ground. Earlobes. Momo, you bastard. The girl with earphone jack earlobes attacks Izuku with sonic blasts from her legs. Seeing what's coming, Izuku puts the earphones back on and mechanizes his arms. Izuku. Mechanization. Drill cannon. Izuku transforms his right hand into a drill and his left into a blaster. He fires a condensed ball of red electrical energy at the girl, but it gets swatted away by the dark shadow. Izuku. TCH, you're annoying. The yellow light charges up in Izuku's cannon arm. Izuku fires the yellow ball at the shadow. The ball then explodes into a blinding light that blinds everyone. Quirk 22. Light grenade. Allows the user to create light bombs that temporarily blinds their opponents. The larger the bomb, the longer it takes to form it. The bright light causes the shadow to go back under the cloak of its bird host. Izuku takes advantage of the opening and attacks the bird boy with his drill. The bird boy however gets knocked out of the way by the red boy who tanks the attack with his hardened skin. Seeing as he wasn't budging, Izuku blasts him back with a pressurized water blast from his cannon. Izuku transforms his arms back to normal and creates several knives in his hands. He throws them up in the air and they seem to hover in place. The knives each head straight towards a different student but miss their marks. Izuku then fires at the muscle boy, but the bullets instead hit the red. Electric boy. What the hell is going on? Quirk 23. Flow. Allows the user to create invisible pathways in the air. The pathways are drawn with the fingers and anything caught in them will flow through them. The pink-skinned girl throws acid at Izuku. He simply drags his finger horizontally in front of him and sends the acid flying in that direction. He then raises his arm up to block a punch from the purple-haired girl. The girl unleashes a barrage of punches at Izuku, only for him to easily dodge each and every punch. Mary. Why can't I hit you? Izuku. I'm just that much faster. Izuku continues to dodge the girl's punches until he notices something bright from behind her. The girl jumps out to the side to reveal a giant laser heading fired from some sparkly boy. Izuku crystallizes his chest and deflects the laser. The blonde girl from earlier leaps forward with an explosion aimed at Izuku. Izuku slaps the girl's hands away to avoid the explosion and elbows her in the back. Izuku's torso and arms then appear to be wrapped up in tape from the kid with weird elbows. The muscle boy then runs up and punches Izuku in his crystallized mask. Izuku breaks free from the tape and punches the muscle boy in the face. A tongue wraps around Izuku and flings him into the air. The tail boy jumps into the air and tries to slap Izuku with his tail. To avoid the attack, Izuku transforms into a snake and slithers around the tail. Once he lands back on the ground, he transforms back to normal and is yet again met with the purple-haired girl. Izuku. You never learn, do you? Izuku cocks back his fist and punches the girl in the stomach. Izuku. The girl smirks to reveal her holding a cloth covered in purple balls. Izuku finds himself unable to pull his hand apart from the balls. Very. Never thought I'd be thankful for that little perv's ability. Ida. Ida. You're finished. The vehicle-themed boy from earlier makes a run towards Izuku with his legs ablaze. Izuku tries moving away, but the girl, along with the octopus creature and Reed boy, hold him in place by his arm. Kirishima. Nowhere to run. Octo boy. End of the line for you. Izuku. You sure about that? Izuku says while raising and crystallizing his free arm. Expecting an attack, the Reed hardens his arm to block. Izuku however, brings his arm down and slices off his own hand. He then jumps back to avoid a kick to the face. Very. Ah, the hell. Kirishima. He cut off his own hand. Ida. You're mad. Izuku. Perhaps I am. Very. Wait, there's no blood. The students look to Izuku's hand to see no blood from it and instead a goldish yellow flame connecting it to the cut off part of Izuku's arm. Quirk 24. Phoenix Flames. While this quirk is active, any limb separated will not result in an injury and can be reattached even after the quirk has been deactivated. Additionally, damaged organs will temporarily remain functioning because of the flame sustaining them. The only downside is that this quirk remains active for only 3 seconds and takes 20 minutes to recharge. It also doesn't repair damage caused by toxins and cauterized wounds. Izuku. Though an arguably inferior version of Nomu's regeneration, it proves quite useful. I'll be taking that back. Izuku pulls his arm and pulls the flames back along with his hand. Izuku uses his free hand to attach his separated one. Izuku. Thus the count starts anew. As for this. Izuku uses his free hand and pulls the cloth along with the balls off his hand easily. Quirk 25. Slash and Stitch. Allows the user to separate and combine objects both physically and chemically. Very. Oh come on. Electric boy. Is there nothing that works on this guy? Izuku. Now then, you've all lived long enough. Izuku coats both his arms in magma and points them up into the air. He then launches massive balls of magma up into the air. Izuku. Meteor volcano. The massive balls of magma start falling down upon the group of students. The students frantically move around to try and avoid the magma. Izuku takes advantage of the panic and grabs the Reed boy by the face. As the magma stops falling, the students realize what's happening. Pink girl. Kirishima. Kirishima. Stay back, I'll be fine if you get any closer, he'll just kill you too. I can take what he gives me. Izuku. You can take what I dish out. Interesting. Izuku says while squeezing the boy's skull with his fingers. The boy grits his teeth in pain before hardening his head. Izuku. A hardening quirk. I could take this for myself, but with crystal, such a quirk is useless. Dual drive. Izuku's arm blackens and a purple star within a purple ring forms on the back of his hand. This causes his grip on the boy's skull to tighten. Izuku. In the face of overwhelming power, such a quirk is useless. Your skills are useless. You are useless. Completely useless. Absolutely useless. Utterly and undeniably. Gotcha. Upon hearing this, Izuku feels something press against his back. He turns around only to see nothing there. Using scan, he's able to see an endowed figure. Izuku. An invisible girl, huh? Girl. I'm found out. The vehicle boy Tokyo drifts in and grabs the girl before running away. The purple-haired girl then runs in and grabs hold of the Reed boy. The boy ceases his hardening, slips out of Izuku's fingers, and runs away with the girl. Izuku looks to see all the students gathered away far from him. Izuku. What's wrong? Has your fear finally sunken in now? Very. We're not afraid of you. Momo. We simply don't want to be caught up in the blast. Izuku. Blast. It can't be. Izuku looks over his shoulder to see several small bombs planted on his back. Blonde. You're going to hell, asshole. Izuku. Perhaps you've forgotten, but I can simply crystallize my body. Watch, your bombs won't even leave a scrawl. What? I can't crystallize. Octo boy. As if we'd let you. Izuku looks above him to see 6 tentacles holding mirrors at different angles. Izuku zooms in using his mechanical eye and can see Eraserhead glaring at him with a smirk. Izuku. Eraserhead. Momo. This ends now. The ponytail girl says as she pushes the button on the detonator. Izuku quickly reacts and throws his coat off of him. His eyes widen at the glow forming from the bombs. The bombs explode at near point-blank range in front of Izuku and cause a massive backdraft. The students and injured teachers try to protect themselves from the harsh winds. Okoyami. Did we get him? Electric boy. That explosion was point-blank and he couldn't use his quirk. There's no way he didn't get hit. Nezu. Don't underestimate a villain. He could very well be perfectly fine. Izuku. Not bad. You took advantage of my idiotic overconfidence and caught me in a trap I couldn't avoid or defend from. It's quite impressive for children. The students and teachers snapped to attention from hearing Izuku's voice. Izuku? It's a real shame though. As the smoke clears, the eyes of three certain individuals widen. Izuku is seen standing there with half his shirt burnt off, large parts of his skin burnt and bleeding, and his mask destroyed, completely revealing his face. Izuku? I made this costume especially for today. Meanwhile, League of Villains bar. The members of the Assault and Vanguard squads are seen sitting around in silence. Twice is tinkering with his arm, Hino and Magni are playing cards, Katsuragi is playing a video game, Compress and Spinner are having a game of darts, Rin is busy knitting, and Dabi is drinking alone in a booth. Magni? They sure are taking their time. Spinner? They are fighting the All Might, you can't expect them to speedrun their way through him like a video game. Compress? Nevertheless, our worries remain. There's always the off chance something might have happened. Rin? Even if something did happen, my Zuzu will make sure they get out of there safely. Katsuragi? Yeah, there's nothing on earth that can stop Big Bro when he's fired up. By the way, since when do you knit? Rin? Is it a crime for me to take interest in new things? Well, even if it is, I don't care, I'm a villain. Twice. Damn right we can do whatever we want. Hino, get me a motor oil martini. Hino? I'm too busy here to make you your suicide drink. Just then, the monitor in the bar turns on and grabs everyone's attention. On the monitor appears the masked face of Afo. Twice. Hey big boss. What's? Afo? Where is Tamura? Twice. Up. Hino. Not to question your mental stability, but you do remember that you sent him on a mission, right? Afo? Do not test me now, child. The mission resulted in a failure and called for a retreat. Katsuragi. So the Nomu lost, huh? Twice. Oh, then the others should be here any minute now. Afo? Tamura and Kurogiri have already evacuated Izuku, and Toga were left behind and are still fighting as we speak. Rin? What? Afo? I've completely lost communications with both Izuku and Tamura without Kurogiri, I can't warp there, and he's out of range so I can't rescue him from here. Spinner? Whoa, what are you trying to say here? Afo? I'm saying Izuku and Toga are in great danger and we have no means of helping or saving them, they've been left to die. Afo says while slamming his fist on a table angrily and ending the communication. Afo? Tamura? Back in the bar, the reality of what the group just heard is slowly starting to sink in. Rin? Zuzu? Twice. Toga? Hino? They've been. Magni? Left for dead. The smell of burning wood causes everyone to turn towards Dabi. He is seen sitting in a burning booth with his drink boiling in its glass. Dabi? I knew it. Back at USJ. Electric boy. Geez, that massive explosion and all we did was burn through this guy's clothes. Momo? Don't be discouraged. You can see that we've definitely done some damage. Mary? Gotta admit, he's not as bad looking as I thought. Ida? He's a villain. Mary? I know that, I'm just saying. Izuku? Normally, I'd make a big deal about you seeing my face. But hey, you're gonna die here anyways. Kirishima? We're not gonna be killed by the likes of you. Pink girl? Yeah. While all of the students are ready for battle, the explosive blonde steps forward ahead of everyone. Green girl? Bakugo? Kirishima? Oi, Bakugo, what are you doing? Izuku? Oh, have you perhaps come to me to offer yourself up? I'll make sure your end is swift. The girl walks up in front of Izuku with her head down and hair shadowing her eyes. Bakugo? You're Deku, aren't you? Izuku feels a sharp pain in his head from being called that name. From the depths of his mind, Izuku hears the girl's voice speaking a different phrase. Useless Deku. Take a swan dive off the roof. What the hell can you do? The pain swells in Izuku's head but is overcome by an unexplained feeling of rage. Izuku? What did you just call me? Bakugo? You're my Deku, Midoriya Izuku. Izuku? My name, how do you know it? And how dare you call me by the name of a hero, who the hell are you? Bakugo? What the hell are you saying? Of course I know your name, how could I have ever forgotten? How could you pretend to not know me? The girl clenches her fists and slowly looks up to reveal her crying face to Izuku. Izuku's eyes widen and he steps back upon getting a full view of her face. Bakugo? It's me, Kaken. Sayonara, Kaken. Bakugo? What happened to you? Do you realize how heartbroken everyone's felt over you? We thought you were killed, I thought I killed you, and now, after over a year, I find you alive as a hero-killing villain. Mary? Oi, what's going on? Momo? Bakugo, do you know him? Izuku? Shut up. Izuku yells while firing a laser from his finger through the girl's shoulder. Electric boy. Bakugo. The girl falls to her knees covering her shoulder while Izuku stands there panting and clutching his head. Bakugo. Why? The girl gets up while still clutching her shoulder and stares Izuku in the eye. Bakugo. Why are you, the one who wanted to be a hero more than anything else, doing such villainous crimes? You respected and loved your father, how could you try to kill him? How could you just abandon your friends and family for such an evil life? Let it burn, son. Can I be a hero too? Izuku. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Izuku sharpens his fingers and tries to slash the girl. The girl is however pulled away by the tape from the elbow boy. Momo. Bakugo, are you okay? Tape boy. Let me patch you up. Izuku. I've had enough of this, all these voices and paining headaches, I'm putting it all to an end. I don't care if I destroy my body again, you're all going straight to hell. Rage adrenaline munch boost crystallize anema clay skin overclock mechanization sharpen. Izuku's arms darken with a red star forming on the back of his right hand and a blue ring on the back of his left. Both his arms bulk up as blue rings form on his left fingers and arm, while red cracks form on his right arm and the fingers turn red ending in a flame pattern. His forearms crystallize and become more jagged with layered edges. Two pseudo-arms sprout from Izuku's back and mechanize. A pair of goat horns grow from his forehead and stretches all the way to the back of his head. His teeth sharpen and mouth forms a demented smile with an eerily long tongue sticking out. His left eye is opened wider than the right and gives off the truly insane vibe. Izuku. Now, let's have some fun. Electric boy. Hey guys, I don't know why, but my legs aren't working so well. Tape boy. What a coincidence, mine are too. Izuku. If you're not gonna make the first move, I will. In the time it takes for someone to blink, Izuku rams headfirst into the muscle boy's gut. This sends him crashing into the Octo Boy and boy with the pointed head, sending them both flying. Pink girl. Kota, Sato, Shoji. Kirishima. You're gonna pay for that. The Redeed boy tries to punch Izuku, but Izuku jumps up high into the sky and lands back in his original position. Izuku. I'm still not used to them, Master's new quirks. But they're at least easy to use. Izuku says while looking at his legs, his forelegs of which are now springs. Quirk 31. Spring lock. Grants the user the ability to turn parts of their body into springs. Rather straightforward this quirk is. Using his spring legs, Izuku jumps to the ceiling and bounces off of it. He heads straight towards the group at high speeds while cocking back his right fist. The students quickly move out of the way, causing Izuku to punch the concrete instead. The power of Izuku's punch creates a massive crater roughly the size of the plaza. Izuku. So much power. I can feel it cracking. Even though they're crystallized, my bones are cracking. Invisi girl. Ow, the shockwave alone did this much damage. Tape boy. Get hit by that and it's an instant kill, stay sharp. Izuku. Nice choice of words. Izuku says as he slices at the air with his right hand. Giant holes on the USJ dome are then slashed open out of nowhere. Izuku. Whoa, so this is what powered up Sharpen can do. Kinda hard to aim. Iida. This is bad, we can't win against him like this. We need to rescue the others and run. Izuku. Run. I can't let you do that. Izuku looks around until his eyes land on the injured teachers. He uncrystallizes her left hand and points at the teachers. His fingers then transform into red and black tendrils that reach and stab into the body of Cementus. Izuku. Forced quirk activation. Cementus's body twitches for a few seconds and the cement floor rises to create a wall blocking off the entrance. Quirk 32. Forced quirk activation. Transforms the user's fingers into tendrils that can forcibly activate the quirks of others. Izuku pulls the tendrils out and returns his hand to its crystallized state. Izuku. The death of all of you is what Tamura-sama wants. I'm fulfilling that mission to the letter. Bakugo. Deku, stop this madness. Izuku. I thought I told you to shut up. Izuku springs forward and tries to punch Bakugo who ducks out of the way. Kirishima runs up and tries to punch Izuku. Izuku blocks with his left arm and trips Kirishima using one of his pseudo-arms. Izuku proceeds to unleash a barrage of stomps on the hardened boy. Izuku. Come now, where's that heroic spirit of yours? Iida. Right here. Iida says while delivering a turbo-boosted kick to Izuku's face. Izuku is as a result knocked back a good distance. Izuku regains his bearings only to see Todoroki launch a ball of flames at him. Izuku opens his mouth and sucks the flame up like a vacuum. Quirk 33. Vacuum. Lets the user pull objects using their breathe like a vortex. Izuku. Powered up munch allows me to eat and store plasma substances like fire. I can also send M right back at ya. Izuku opens his mouth wide and sends the blast of fire straight to the young heroes. Todoroki acts fast and creates an ice wall to block the flames. The flames cease only for Izuku to burst through the wall like a bulldozer. He grabs the tail boy by the tail and throws him straight into the pink girl. Izuku. Mechanization. Dual cannon. Izuku transforms his two pseudo-arms into cannons and fires electrical blasts rapidly in different directions. While the students focus on dodging, Izuku punches the ground with his right fist. The floor freezes and causes them all to get stuck to the ground. He then punches the ground with his left fist, this time digging it into the ground. Izuku. Just try dodging now. Volcanic meteor storm. Magma erupts from the ground like volcanoes and launches high into the air through the roof. The magma rains down on the students like meteorites. Todoroki creates a massive iceberg to block several of the magma meteorites. Momo uses her quirk and creates military-grade multi-headed rocket launcher to blow up the remaining meteorites. Izuku. Struggle all you want, you're just prolonging your inevitable death ha 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 ha. Izuku stops his maniacal laughing for a second due to him getting hit in his low-hanging parts by a metallic pole created by Momo. Izuku. Shitty brats, that was a low blow. Izuku says before falling on his side in pain. Electric boy. Ouch, I felt that. Momo. Now, well he's down, get free from the ice. Todoroki. I'm on it. Todoroki uses her flames and melts the ice holding them in place. It is at this time that Izuku recovers from the shock and gets back up. Izuku. Ugh, that hurt. But at least it got me back on my senses a bit. And I think I'll thank you for that by taking that stick and shoving it straight up your. Iida. How dare you. Iida runs up and tries to kick Izuku. Izuku simply raises his left arm and blocks the kick. He then flexes his muscles and repels Iida with the force. Using his spring legs, Izuku jumps far back away from the group. Izuku. Mechanization. Hyper lens. Izuku throws his arms to his side and mechanizes his chest. A red lens appears on the center of his chest. Izuku. Let's see what happens when I magnify my powered-up laser with my powered-up mechanization. Izuku creates spikes on the bottom of his feet and plants himself in the ground. He then stabs his pseudo-arms into the ground behind him and crystallizes them. The lens on his chest starts glowing with a pinkish light and veins start bulging around it. Izuku. Rose cannon. The light flashes incredibly brightly and a large laser fires from Izuku's chest lens. The sparkly boy fires a laser from his belt and clashes with Izuku's laser for a moment. The lasers struggle against each other before Izuku's overpowers the sparkly boys. Momo jumps in front of the boy and creates a dome-shaped crystal object. The laser gets deflected by the object in several directions. The laser blast comes to an end as Momo falls on her side. Earlobes. Momo. Momo. It appears I've reached my limit. Izuku. Huff, huff you brats huff, huff really don't know when to give up. Mary. Is he tired? Todoroki. It looks like he's reaching his limit. Izuku. Limit. A soldier has no such thing, I will only rest once you all die. Izuku yells as he starts running towards the students. He, as well as the students, can see that he's much slower. Izuku. Shit, the exhaustion is getting to me. Before Izuku can make it to the students, he gets punched in the face. He looks to see the fist coming from a barely standing hound dog. Izuku. Damn dog, stay down Aura. Izuku says as he punches Hound Dog in the face before being immediately punched and kicked in the face by Vlad and Ectoplasm. Izuku. The teachers. Toru. What are you guys doing? You're too injured to move. Nezu. What do you want us to say? Seeing our students fight alone so hard makes us feel ashamed as teachers. We can't neglect our duties. Izuku. It matters not if you're still standing, you will still die. Izuku uncrystallizes his right arm and ignites it in purple fire before crystallizing it again. The flames almost immediately turn red and start burning Izuku through his crystallization. Izuku screams out in pain before dropping to his knees while clutching his arm. Izuku. Why? Why is it red, why does it burn? This is my own power, it will bend to my whims. Izuku yells as the flames proceed to turn black. He then gets back up and stares everyone down. He yells loudly before running with his fist cocked back. Ectoplasm tries to kick Izuku, but his leg gets incinerated through by a punch from Izuku. Ectoplasm. What? Nezu. Don't touch those flames. Todoroki. I won't give him the chance to use it. Todoroki says as she sends a wave of ice heading towards Izuku. Izuku punches the ice and completely shatters it. This punch, however, causes Izuku's crystal arm to crack a bit. Izuku screams out in pain and subconsciously uncrystallizes his arm. Feeling sorrow from hearing Izuku's pain, a single voice screams out. Please stop, isn't all this pain enough for you? The students and teachers all look towards the source of the voice. Izuku, in a fit of rage, turns to the source of the and points his finger while charging a laser. Izuku. Shut up or I'll huh. Upon getting a look of the source of the voice, Izuku suddenly loses his urge to kill. The girl appeared to have shoulder-length brown hair and brown eyes. Izuku? You look familiar. Izuku continues to stare at the girl, but is interrupted by the cement wall being blown up by flames. Hey, we heard there were some villains causing trouble here. A hero killer to be specific. This better not be a waste of time. HMPH, I see All Might's being lazy on the job. Izuku looks to the remains of the wall to see 4 immediately recognizable figures walking through. Izuku. Ah, buck me. Nezu. It sure took you long enough. Endeavor. So this brat is the so-called hero killer. Izuku. Oh, Endeavor, it's been a while. Endeavor. Been a while. You must be losing your mind. Izuku. You don't remember me. This eye of mine sure remembers you though. S-Genist. A shame, another member of this generation gets twisted. Aang Orca. It can't be helped. Let's just stop him from worsening his crimes. Boruko. You've killed over 100 heroes, right? Let's see how your strength actually stacks up. Boruko says as she jumps straight at Izuku. Izuku tries to move, but he's held in place by his pants being manipulated by S-Genist. Izuku. Shambles. Izuku swaps the material composition of his pants with plastic. S-Genist. Plastic. Izuku switches the material back and blocks a kick from Maruko with his left arm. He tries to swat her away using one of his pseudo-arms, but she dodges. He is then rendered motionless by a sonic blast from Gang Orca. At that moment, a fireball is hurtled at him by Endeavor. Izuku, unable to move, manages to blast a stream of water from his mouth and cancels out the flames. Meanwhile, at the undisturbed side of Toga's glass box, cracks are seen forming on it. Cracks continue to form until a knife breaks through. The knife stabs through the eye several more times and eventually tears down the wall. Toga. Oh god, I'm free. That took forever. Now where is? Before she can finish her sentence, Toga can't see Izuku and notice the predicament. Toga. Hero, get away from him. Toga yells as she throws a knife up into the air. The knife descends and lands right in Gang Orca's blowhole. Aang Orca. Ow, right in the blowhole. Toga. Hero. Izuku. Himiko. Toga. What happened? Your face and you've gotten injured so badly. Izuku. I got a little carried away. Seems my cover's been blown. And my chances of escaping seem slim. Toga. Don't say that, we can still escape. Izuku. No, you can escape. I'll make sure of that. I at least want to save you. Toga. Hey, what do you mean by that? Izuku. The seeds have already been sown, the next generation of Master's power is on its way. I'm no longer necessary. It's just a shame I couldn't live up to Master's legacy. Toga. Stop talking like that, you make it sound as if you're going to my clothes. Toga's clothes suddenly tighten and prevent her from moving. S-Genist. You let your guard down. Endeavor. Go to hell. Endeavor sends a massive stream of flames straight to the villain duo. Izuku quickly turns and grabs Toga. He forces her on her knees and covers her as the flames hit his back. Toga. Izuku-kun. Izuku. Smile, I'm fine, Himiko. Izuku smiles at Toga for a moment before hearing running behind him. He throws her to the side before getting kicked at the back of his head by Maruko. Toga. Izuku-kun. Izuku, lying on the ground, turns around so he's on his back. He is then stepped on by Maruko. Maruko. Come on, is this the best you've got? I thought you were a hero killer. Izuku tries to push himself but gets pulled back down. He looks to his right to see a hand coming out of the ground and grabbing his arm. Our loader. Bet you forgot about me, didn't you? Another hand pops out of the ground and cuffs Izuku's wrist. Izuku's body starts reverting back to normal as he feels the powers of his quirks draining. Our loader. Quirk suppressing cuffs, pretty useful, aren't they? Our loader pulls his hands back in the ground while leaving half of the cuff in the hole. He then does the same with Izuku's left wrist. The concrete holes with half of the cuffs in them are then sealed off by Cementus, thus trapping Izuku. Boruko. You're finished. Boruko says before stomping into Izuku's stomach. This knocks the wind out of Izuku and causes him to cough up blood. Izuku's eyes wide out from the pain and sees Maruko walk away in his fading vision. Izuku. It hurts. I'm so tired. Izuku's eyes slowly starting shutting as his head falls back down to the ground. His breathing slows down and the pain starts to truly sink in. Izuku. I'm sorry, Master. I failed you. It's getting hard to keep my eyes open. I think I'll just take a short nap. Izuku closes his eyes and slowly lets his consciousness drift away. Toga. Let go of me. Izuku opens his eyes and weakly lifts his head up. He is able to see Toga held by her skull by Endeavor. Izuku. Himiko. Toga. Let me go. Endeavor. Hold still. The more you move around, the more this will hurt. I'm going to see to it you pay for your crimes. Izuku's eyes slowly widen as his heartbeat accelerates. Izuku. Himiko. Izuku starts screaming and thrashing around violently while tugging on the cuffs. His screams draw the attention of everyone standing there. Engorka. Seems he's finally breaking down. Endeavor. Leave him be. We can just let him scream it out. Endeavor says as he and the others turn their backs to Izuku and walk to the exit. They try to pay him no attention, but stop dead in their tracks as the screams stop and the sound of ripping is heard. Everyone turns around to see Izuku standing there with his head hanging low and both his hands gone with blood dripping from where they once were. Izuku lifts his head up to look at them all with a blank face, yet enraged look in his eyes. Izuku. Get your hands off my Himiko. The rage-filled aura emanating from Izuku was giving everyone chills and paralyzed them. Izuku takes one step forward, followed slowly by another. The blood from his arms leaves a trail as he moves forward. Izuku. Kill. 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 Toga. Izuku snap out of it. Toga starts struggling and manages to slip out of Endeavor's grip, losing her mask in the process. Izuku. Kill. 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 Afo. That's enough, Izuku. Izuku stops moving as he suddenly hears the voice of his master in his head. Izuku. Master. Afo. As of this moment, you are not to recognize any orders given by Tamura. Cease the mindless violence. We will find a way to save you. Protect Toga and follow the orders she gives you. Do you hear me? As Izuku stands there, he sees Toga running up to him with tears in her eyes. Toga. Izuku, please stop. Izuku. Understood. But those words, Izuku gives in to exhaustion and falls forward unconscious. Toga sits beside him and cradles his head while crying. Everyone else just stands there still shocked and watches the scene in silence. New chance. Several hours after the USJ raid, League of Villains bar. The purple portal opens up in the middle of the bar. Tamura walks in through the portal which turns back into Kurogiri immediately after. Almost instantly Tamura gets grabbed by the throat and slammed into a wall, and Kurogiri gets pressed against the floor by a barrier wall. Tamura looks to see Dabi holding him up against the wall, Hino crushing Kurogiri with a barrier, Katsuragi pointing a gun at him, Spinner with his sword made of swords next to Kurogiri's head, and the others looking either angry or disturbed. Tamura. Is that any way to greet your leader? Dabi. You son of a hitch. Katsuragi. You've got some explaining to do, you bastard. Tamura. That's so. Tamura says as he shifts his gaze to the right. Dabi shifts his gaze as well, allowing Tamura to kick him in the gut. Tamura follows with an elbow to the face and sweeps Dabi's feet so he lands on his back. Katsuragi fires 2 shots, but Tamura dodges them and grabs the gun which he turns to dust. He grabs Katsuragi by the neck using 4 fingers and stomps down on Dabi's throat. Dabi. What the hell? I didn't even catch his moves. When did he get so strong? Tamura. If you're gonna try and attack someone, I suggest you do it right. Tamura hears the click of a revolver being cocked. His eyes look to the left to see Rin holding a gun up to the side of his head. Tamura. Rin, seeing you like this reminds me of an old saying. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Rin. Whether you let go of them or not, it doesn't change the fact that I will kill you. Tamura. Well then. Tamura slowly stomps down harder on Dabi's throat and slowly brings his 5th finger closer to Katsuragi's neck. Rin is about to pull the trigger until a black sludge manifests in the bar. The sludge disappears to reveal All For One himself. Though he wore his mask, everyone can clearly tell that he is furious. Tamura. Oh, sensei. Afo. Tamura. Tamura. On edge, that's not good. Afo. Release them. Tamura. Okay. I'm not here for conflict. Tamura says as he drops Katsuragi and takes his foot off of Dabi's throat. The two of them stand up and step back. Rin remains in the same position with a gun pointed to Tamura's head. Tamura. Can I get a little breathing room? Afo. You will explain yourself. Now. Explain to me why you left Izuku and Toga behind to be captured and why I shouldn't kill you where you stand. Tamura. I was seeking to complete the mission. All Might was after all right there and easily killable. It's not my fault the brat couldn't go through with it. Red electricity sparks all around Afo's body. He grips his fist and the sparks scorch the wooden floor. Afo. I told you that only Nomu was meant to fight All Might. I told you specifically that the mission would be deemed a failure and retreat was the option were Nomu to fail. Tamura. I was being realistic. We'll likely never receive another opportunity quite like that since Nomu was unattainable. And even if he was, he'd be useless. After all, he couldn't manage to kill All Might. There was no way I would have been able to take on all those pros. The brat had the best chance of killing them all. Of course, it was only a chance. Rin. Don't give us that bullshit. If you'd stayed and fought with Izuku, you could have gotten the mission done. Hell, if you'd just gotten the rest of us, we coulda killed them all and escaped. Instead you escaped to God knows where and left the two of them to rot. Tamura. You really think you would have made a difference? 20 brats with mastery over their own quirks, along with several top heroes including Endeavor, Beast Genist, Gang Orca and Maruko. All you would have done is give the brat more targets to defend. Spinner. You don't know that we could've. Tamura. Could've what? Spinner. Could've. Tamura. That's what I thought. Afo. How is it you are aware which pros came after you left? Tamura. You're not the only one who had access to a camera, sensei. Afo. Tamura, you of all people should know the limitations of Izuku's power. You should know his likelihood of making it out of the situation. Tamura. His power wasn't enough. Well, maybe if you hadn't modified his all for one, he would have been able to take them down easily. Afo flinches hearing Tamura say that whereas everyone else just looks confused. Twice. Modified. Rin. What is he talking about? Afo. How do you know of that? Tamura. You didn't tell them, did you? Sensei was afraid the brat wouldn't be able to handle a mass amount of quirks, so he had the doctor make adjustments to his all for one so that he couldn't steal quirks easily. Hino. Is that really true? Afo. It was for his own good. Tamura. His own good, eh? What do you all think this is? Do you consider us friends, party members, a family? From the very beginning, I thought of you as nothing more than tools to further the cause of the League. And what's wrong with sacrificing a tool or two? Especially one that's on the verge of breaking. Magni. How can you say that? You two grew up together as kids, right? You're practically brothers. Tamura. So you believe that too? It's almost laughable. Trust me, none of you know the real truth. Abi. The real truth? What are you talking about? Tamura. I've spoken enough truths for today. Maybe sensei will tell you one day. Hino. Is there something about Hizu you aren't telling us? Afo. That's not for you to know. Back to the matter at hand, Tamura, for your betrayal of the League, your punishment will be severe. Tamura. Betrayal. All I did was remove a potentially hazardous element before it did damage to the League. And it's not as if we lost any of our actual firepower. Watch, if you'll just let Kurogiri go, I'll show you. Hino looks to Afo waiting for a sign of confirmation. After a short moment, Afo gives a nod. Hino begrudgingly dissipates his barrier and releases Kurogiri. Kurogiri stands up and transforms himself into a portal. Tamura snaps his fingers and the sound of footsteps can be heard on the other side of the portal. To everyone's surprise, a figure appearing to be Izuku walks in. Rin. Zizuzu. Compress. Is it really him? Tamura. It is. Or rather a clone I had twice make yesterday. Abi. You freaking monochrome clown, you were in on this? Twice. No, I swear I just thought he was gay and needed a way to relieve some stress. Tamura. This clone was made locked into the brat soldier state. He's completely void of emotions and follows every order to the letter. He's the ultimate soldier the original was always meant to be. He has no bonds to hold him back. Afo? You. Tamura. You yourself wanted this, sensei. And he would have become this, but you got attached. Did you think of him as your brother? Or perhaps something else? You grew soft. And don't think you can threaten me with death. We both know you need me. Afo? Lower the gun. Rin. W what? Are you seriously going to let him go scot-free after everything he's? Afo? I said lower the gun. Rin flinches and her gun starts shaking in her hands. She lowers her head and angrily tosses the gun to the side. Afo? One more question, what is it you hope to gain by locking yourself out of Izuku's order system? You modulated your voice to sound like mine and sent Izuku that last order after all. Tamura. Heh, I'm not putting all of my cards on the table yet. I'm going to my room. Try not to wake me. Tamura says as he exits the bar and enters the hallway to the living quarters. Hino. Are we supposed to act like everything's back to normal? Because no matter what, there's no way I can forgive him after what he's done. Afo? Nothing will be the same from now on. Tamura can longer be trusted. Dabi, you'll be in charge of the assault squad until we rescue Izuku and Toga. I want you to monitor Tamura as well. Dabi. Got it. Afo? At this point, the heroes have probably hacked into the tracker in Izuku's eye. If we go to rescue him now, we'll be leading them straight to us. We need to wait until an opportunity presents itself. Rin. Toga Zuzu. Meanwhile, at UA Hero Academia Medbay. The bandaged up teachers of UA along with the 4 pro heroes can be seen waiting in the medbay. Endeavor. I'll ask again, who's this skinny fellow and why was he at USJ? Nezu. Like I said, he's a member of our staff. He was helping deal with Hero. SGnist. Is this really the time for you to be suspicious about some old man? All Might. I'm not that old. Midnight. How are you feeling, Vlad? Vlad. Terrible. I can't believe my quirk was actually stolen. Hell, I can't believe it's actually possible to do something like that. Nezu. There are plenty people out there with dangerous and unique quirks such as this one. Let this serve as a wake-up call. SGnist. In any event, this makes his string of assaults on heroes understandable now. He'd been killing heroes and stealing their quirks. Present Mick. He's been around for a year though, right? I'd expect him to be unstoppable if he just absorbed quirks non-stop. Hound Dog. GRR. Our loader. Yeah, among the list of his victims, he didn't even display half of their quirks. Cementus. That would imply that he's stronger than he let on. Bang Orca. That wouldn't make sense though. Why hold back in what is essentially a life or death situation? Endeavor. I don't know nor do I care. What really troubles me was that look in his eyes. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't move while in his gaze. It was as if death itself was staring me down. Nezu. That pure and complete bloodlust, it's been a while since I felt something like that. Suddenly the curtains covering 2 of the med beds are reeled back a bit. UA nurse and pro hero recovery girl takes off a pair of medical gloves before walking to the group. Nezu. So, how are they? Recovery girl. 13 suffered some major laceration on her back and upper arm. Azawa on the other hand suffered comminuted fractures in both arms and a face fracture. His orbital floor was broken into small pieces and his eyes may suffer some after effects. Luckily there wasn't any serious brain damage. At any rate, they'll both survive. They're in much worse states than those 9 severely injured students I treated earlier though. I'm just glad the others didn't get injured that badly. Nezu. Thank goodness. Those 2 really put their lives on the line so I was worried. Honestly I feel like they should be in a hospital rather than a school nurse's office, but we unfortunately can't afford to have them away from here. Endeavor. What about your other patient? RG. Ah yes, well. Recovery girl pulls back the curtains concealing a 3rd bed. On the bed lies a figure completely covered in bandages aside from their eyes and mouth. Said figure is missing both of their hands and has their ankles cuffed to the bed with quirk-suppressing cuffs. RG. He's a real monster. 7 gunshot wounds in his chest from snipe, ruptured eardrums from Mick, the majority of his body burned as a result of the student's bombs, several fractures in his right arms, a fractured jaw, testicular damage somehow which resulted in swelling, burns on his back from Endeavor. Damage to the back of his skull and 6 fractured ribs by Maruko which in turn pierced his lungs, and topping all of that is his hands that were ripped off. There's also the severe burning on his right forearm caused by those flames of his. The skin is charred to the point of it being so black you'd think it was a tattoo. Endeavor. That last part is strange. In the history of all his victims, there was not a single one who possessed a fire-based quirk. His last one, the Jade Dragon who survived, has green flames, so we can assume it isn't his quirk. And there weren't any recent victims of any kind of incident or death during his initial debut period that had a quirk which could produce those black flames you spoke of. Nezu. How strange. There has to be an explanation to this. The door to the nurse's office opens for an individual wearing a detective uniform and carrying a briefcase. All Might. Tsukauchi-kun, you're finally here. Tsukauchi. Sorry, finding that other villain took longer than we thought. Nezu. That's fine. What did you find out about him? Tsukauchi. Right, that. Tsukauchi opens his briefcase and pulls out several papers. Tsukauchi. Putting that aside quickly, we were able to confirm the identity of his partner as the masked villain responsible for multiple murders, Himiko Toga. As for him, going on the lead from that blonde spiky-haired student and the mention of his actual name, we were able to confirm through a blood test that he is in fact the son of Hisashi Midoriya, the Jade Dragon, and Inko Midoriya, who was thought to have died in the sludge villain incident 1 year ago. Nezu. So that's his story. How could they come to the conclusion that he was dead though? Tsukauchi. I looked into that too. A corpse was found at the site of the incident dressed in the young man's middle school uniform. The face of the core was burnt beyond recognition, so they assumed it was him, and the burn was caused by the fatal injury he received. Here's a picture of him before the incident and the corpse found. Tsukauchi proceeds to hand Nezu a picture of a core with the head covered in burns, making it unrecognizable. He then hands him another picture. Everyone gathers around to look at the picture of the green-haired and emerald-eyed boy. All Might starts to sweat a bit and his hand starts shaking. Nezu places his paw on his hand to calm him down. Tsukauchi. Over by his right eye is where the attack that supposedly killed him landed. As you can saw on the one in the bed over there, he has a scar in the same area. Boruko. You sure this is him though? I mean, that guy over there has red hair and a red eye. Tsukauchi. Yes, but genetics don't lie. Endeavor. Does he have any record of psychotic behavior or mental illness? Tsukauchi. No, not that we're aware of. He was apparently heavily verbally and possibly physically bullied in school by his entire class, but he was incredibly passive. Medical records present no mental disorders either. All Might. He tried to commit suicide. Everyone looks at All Might with confused expressions on their faces. All Might. He tried to kill himself by jumping off a building. S-Genist. How do you know that? All Might. Oh, well, I heard it from All Might. He said he saved the green-haired boy from trying to kill himself on the same day. Anyways, it's fair to say he might have suffered from depression at the least. Endeavor. HMPH, I guess. That's still no excuse for his crimes. S-Genist. To think he'd be driven to kill so many, even attempting to do the same to his own father. It truly is a shame. Tsukauchi. There's one more piece of information, but I'd like to hear what Recovery Girl found out about by examining his body first. RG. Sure. His body seems to have undergone some sorts of modifications, and I'm not just referring to his enhanced physical strength. The majority of his organs, including his lungs and heart, have been replaced. According to Ryukyu and Crust, in yesterday's attack on Hisashi, he had lost his right leg and eaten part of his left arm to the point where his bones were visible. Lad. Oh what? Snipe. He ate himself. RGE. They'd apparently heard this from Hisashi himself. He gave them a warning relating to it and those black before he lost consciousness. Ectoplasm. Don't tell me. Nezu. That's most likely the source of those flames. Our loader. What a disgusting power. Endeavor. That's quite a burdensome price. RGE. You can see the parts of his arm where he'd eaten from are discolored. You can also see the burn scar where his leg had been cut off. The leg isn't a prosthetic and I made sure to check his bone marrow, it contains his DNA. All Might. Does that mean he regrew his leg? RGE. It would appear he has the ability to do so. Moving on, his right eye has been replaced by a cybernetic one. It appears to function as both an actual eye and a camera. I've never seen such a fine combination of machinery and human biology. I also found some sort of plug on the side of his head, think of the neck plug from the Matrix. Examining his body even further, I discovered 3 objects concerning me. Recovery Girl reaches into her pocket and pulls out a small disc-shaped object about the size of a pea. RGE. This was found on his neck. It appears to be a remote-controlled signal jammer. Its area of effect is only small. She reaches into her other pocket and pulls out a sort of bloody device contained within a Ziploc bag. RGE. I noticed this while taking an X-ray. I used a scalpel and made an incision on his scalp so I could find out what it was. It's a communication device someone had planted on the outside his skull. I disabled it, of course. Boruko. Seems like overkill. Bang Orca. Why go to such an extent? RGE. Whoever did this is quite skilled. This isn't the work of some amateur. S-Genist. What was the other thing? RGE. This one is rather strange to me. In order to make sure whatever happens here isn't seen by others, I thought of removing his eye or disabling the camera. But I can't exactly do that. Our loader. Why not? RGE. It's because this eye of his has a small armed explosive device embedded in it. It wouldn't cause a large explosion, but it would definitely kill him considering how close it is to his brain. I can only assume that tampering with the eye without disabling the device will cause it to explode. And I'm unable to disable it since I assume doing so requires whatever you plug into the side of his head. Present Mick. Seriously? Cementus. I don't see the point in doing something like that. RGE. This is a guess, but there may be a tracker in there too. It's possible the bomb is to stop others from taking away their ability to keep track of him. Endeavor. They assume we don't wish to kill him then. RGE. You want to interrogate him, right? Then they were right in assuming. Tsukauchi. Indeed. There are many things we want to question him about. I'm particularly interested in the origin of his quirk. Midnight. Origin. Tsukauchi. You see, according to medical records, he's registered as quirkless. Hound dog. GRR. Snipe. How can that be? Tsukauchi. I don't know. It could imply he got his quirk through someone else or unheard of means. We won't know for sure until we get to interrogate him. RGE. Well, he should wake up soon. I don't know if he'll be willing to participate though. Meanwhile, within Izuku's subconscious. Izuku is lying on his back in complete darkness. His eyes are closed and his body refuses to move. In the darkness, the sounds of many voices can be heard speaking in incomprehensible whispers. Izuku. So noisy. The memories of quirks, it's irritating, quiet down already. Izuku tries his best to ignore the whispers in the dark. Suddenly, the voices seem to disappear. Izuku sighs with a relaxed feeling growing. The feeling doesn't last though as the whispers return. This time however, the voices sound closer to Izuku. The whispers start growing louder and louder till they reach eardrum-bursting volumes. Blood-curdling screams are heard amongst the loud whispers. Izuku feels something hit against his head. He opens his eyes to see a shadowy figure with glowing green eyes looking down on him. A large white crescent moon-shaped smile appears on the figure's shadowed face. Hello. Izuku opens his eyes in the real world and quickly sits. He breaks out in a cold sweat and starts panting. He feels a pain in his head and tries to grasp it. It is at this point that he looks at his hands and remembers he tore them off. Izuku. Oh, right. Nezu. You're finally awake. Izuku looks around to find the UA staff as well as the 4 pro heroes and Tsukauchi. He immediately tries to get up into a fighting stance but falls back down due to his ankles being chained to the bed. Nezu. You're not exactly in a good position to fight, you know. That is, unless you plan to rip off your feet as well. Izuku. Where is Himiko? Nezu. Calm down. We'll tell you about her soon. First, we want to ask you some questions. Izuku. I will not say anything until you bring me my Himiko. Izuku says as he sticks his tongue out and starts biting down on it so it starts bleeding a bit. Izuku. Bring me my Himiko or kiss any information you want to get out of me, goodbye. Nezu. Well, aren't you a stubborn one? We won't be able to get any information out of a dead man. Endeavor, do you mind? Endeavor. Fine. Endeavor walks out of the room leaving Izuku with the others. After a few minutes, Toga bursts through the doors with tears in her eyes. Toga. Crying Izuku. Izuku. Himiko. Toga leaps forward and Izuku catches her in a hug. She kisses him and they hug each other tightly as tears form in the corner of Izuku's left eye. All Might. Coughs up blood. Midnight. Oh my. Our loader. Kids these days. RGE. Quite passionate, these two youths. Nezu. Ahem. Izuku and Toga break away from their moment. Izuku turns to face the heroes and Toga sits next to him while holding his arm. Izuku. Now, what is it you want from me? Nezu. Like I said, we wish to ask you a few questions. Before we do though. Vlad stands up and walks up in front of Izuku. Vlad. Give back my damn quirk. Izuku. Well, I'd do that. That is if I still had my bucking hands, of course. Bang Orca. We know you can regenerate your limbs somehow. Nezu. And we'll let you do so on the condition that you don't try anything. Izuku shifts his gaze onto Toga. She meets his gaze and simply gives him a nod. Izuku. Fine then. I won't try anything, just take off these shackles. Nezu nods at Midnight. She gets up and walks towards the foot of Izuku's bed. Using a small key, she unlocks his cuffs. Himiko proceeds to unwrap the bandages around Izuku's arms. Izuku proceeds to transform both his arms into tentacles ending in stumps. Snipe points and cocks his gun at Izuku. Snipe. What do you think you're doing? This isn't what we agreed on. Izuku. How else do you think I grow my limbs back? Nomu's the only one with instant regeneration. Izuku's tentacle limbs then snap off completely. Izuku. Oi, recovery granny. Give me a hand and accelerate my healing. Endeavor. You want us to heal you? Izuku. It takes an octopus 3 days to regenerate their limbs, so unless you're willing to wait that long, I suggest you hurry up and heal me. Nezu. It's fine. We've got someone on watch ready to erase his quirks. Nezu says as he refers to the figure in the bed opposite Izuku's covered under a blanket. RGE. We don't really have many options here. We have to do it. Recovery girl walks up to Izuku and extends her lips to kiss his forehead. A green aura covers his body and 2 new tentacles grow in. Izuku proceeds to turn his tentacle arms back to normal ones. Izuku. Ah, I feel alive again. Oh, there aren't any new burns on my hand. I expected it to be as charred black as my forearm. RGE. Aren't you tired? My quirk usually takes a lot out of people. Izuku. I'm quite confident in my stamina. Vlad. Whatever, hurry up and return my quirk. Izuku. Fine, bend down here. Vlad bends down so that he's at Izuku's height. Izuku places his hand on his face. A red light glows from his palm and quickly fades away. Izuku. There, you can use your quirk again. Vlad stands up and looks at his hand. Blood sprouts from his gauntlet and covers his hand in a spiky glove. Nezu. Good to see that you're at least a man of your word. Izuku. Now that that's taken care of, these bandages are really irritating. Izuku says as the bandages covering his body all suddenly turn to ash and fall off him. Izuku. That's better. Endeavor. What did you do? Izuku. I simply raised the temperature of the bandages to the point where they'd incinerate into ash. Gotta say, this feels much better. Toga starts rubbing her cheek against Izuku's like a cat. Toga. I can never get tired of seeing Izuku's adorable face. Izuku. I don't exactly appreciate being called adorable. Toga. Don't worry, you're hot when you're all bloody and when you're fired up. Present Mick. Are these two really only teenagers? Nezu. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get on with the interrogation. Izuku. I don't think so. Nezu. Oh. You're trying to withhold information from us. Izuku. Don't get me confused, I'm willing to make a deal to give you what you want. Nezu. Oh, and what kind of deal would that be? Izuku. I'll answer any and all questions I can answer. In exchange, I want you to let Himiko go free. Toga. Izuku, what are you saying? I'm not going to lose you. Izuku turns to look at Toga. He gives her a large reassuring smile. Izuku. It's fine, Himiko. It's my job to make sure you stay safe. I'll find a way to get back to you, so just go find some place to hide until then. Toga. Izuku, and no, I'm not leaving your side. Nezu. We accept. Ectoplasm. What? Endeavor. Do you have any idea what you're saying? You're promising to let a criminal wanted for multiple murders go free of charge. Nezu. This particular information could possibly lead us to capture one of, if not the most dangerous villain in history, responsible God knows how many deaths. Releasing one villain seems like a fair trade, wouldn't you agree? Besides, it's not like she can hide from all heroes out there. Izuku. Thank you. Know this though. If you dare go after my Himiko, I'll kill you all. Nezu. How scary. Genist, do you mind escorting her to somewhere she won't be found? Genist. I suppose it's fine. Toga. No, I'm not going anywhere. Toga says as she grabs onto Izuku and bites into his shoulder. Midnight. Jesus, talk about clingy. Izuku. Himiko, let go. Toga. Never. Izuku. Oi, rat. We'll take Himiko to a safe place after you interrogate me, since she won't leave me. Nezu. Can't be helped, so it's fine. Detective Tsukauchi, the device please. Tsukauchi. Yes. Tsukauchi reaches into his briefcase and pulls out what appears to be some sort of metallic collar. Izuku. The hell is that? Tsukauchi. The latest technology developed by David Shield. I'm sorry, but it's hard to take anything a villain says as the truth. In simple terms, this collar will tell me when you're lying and indicate it on this small handheld device. I assume this won't be a problem. Izuku. No, I don't intend to lie here. Tsukauchi. Well then. Tsukauchi walks up to Izuku and affixes the collar around his neck. Tsukauchi presses a button on the handheld device, causing the collar to light up in a light blue color. Tsukauchi. Now then, let's start with some easy questions. How old are you? Izuku. 15. Tsukauchi looks down at the handheld device to see a red button and green button. The green is seen to be glowing. Tsukauchi. Truth. According to reports, you use both knives and guns, correct? Izuku. Yes. Tsukauchi. Truth. You've killed over 100 pro heroes, correct? Izuku. Yes. Tsukauchi. True. Let's move on to more important questions. Your leader, the one known as Tamura Shigaraki, proclaimed that your group is known as the League of Villains. Have you only recently formed, or was this group been around for years and have only now decided to show themselves? Izuku. I cannot say. The green button lights up, much to the surprise Nezu, Endeavor and Tsukauchi. Tsukauchi. Truth. Do you genuinely not know, or are you withholding information? Izuku. I cannot say. Tsukauchi. Truth again. Are you yourself new to the league, or have you been there since the beginning? Izuku. I cannot say. Endeavor. Oi, quit screwing with us. We had a deal. Izuku. And I'm fulfilling my end of the deal. I promised to answer anything I could answer. Toga. It's not his fault. His quirk stops him from revealing information. Tsukauchi. His quirk. Nezu. Perhaps we should inquire about those first then. Tsukauchi. Right. Go ahead and list off the quirks you have and the victims associated with them. Izuku looks at Tsukauchi with a blank expression on his face. He then holds his arm out to the side. His arm glows before a piece of paper manifests out of it. Izuku grabs the piece of paper and hands it to Tsukauchi. Izuku. Here. All my quirks and who I attained them from in chronological order. Nezu. Oh, you can manifest something so detailed so easily. Tsukauchi. Nezu, take a look at this. Nezu, Tsukauchi and Endeavor gather around to look at the piece of paper. Nezu. Oh, I see what you mean. Endeavor. 32 quirks. Most of these are the quirks of heroes, while others are quirks from random thugs. Nezu. Disregarding that one quirk in particular is missing, there are a few that strike me as odd. This quirk, Material Shift, doesn't have a victim associated with it. But we know for a fact that that quirk belongs to the underground quirk dealer, Water. Is perhaps the reason you have his quirk but don't consider him to be a victim is because he's alive and you two are allied with each other? Izuku? I cannot say. Nezu. Is that so? Well then, what about this quirk, Limitless? It also has no victim. What does it do? Izuku. It gives me a limitless lifespan. I'm essentially immortal. Endeavor. That doesn't mean you can't be killed. Nezu. Any particular reason this one has no victim? Izuku. I cannot say. Nezu. I see. What about this one, Soldier? This one simply says unknown. Izuku. I am unaware of the origin of that quirk. Endeavor. What does it do? Toga. It removes his emotions and turns him into a soldier who follows orders to the letter no matter what. Nezu. Oh, so that was the soldier we fought against. Curious, could you perhaps show it to us? Izuku. Himiko. Toga. I really don't like Hiro, but I guess just this once is fine. Wake up, Hiro. Izuku closes his eyes expecting to switch out. They shoot open however as he feels nothing. Izuku. What's going on? It's not working. Toga. Really? Nezu. Has this never happened before? Toga. No, never. Izuku. Damn it. What's happening? Izuku's finger turned black and red. This causes the teachers and heroes to get on guard. Izuku however stabs his fingers into his chest. Izuku. Forced quirk activation Soldier. Izuku's body pulsates and he grits his teeth. Still feeling nothing, Izuku pulls out his now bloody fingers. Izuku. Still nothing, damn it. Toga. Pinch, don't go injuring yourself again. Izuku. Sorry. But I don't get why it's not working. First Soul Fire and now this, what's going on with me? Nezu. Seems you can't use it now, that's a shame. Toga. You can still give him orders even like this though. Nezu. Can I? Toga. Yeah, but only if someone registers you as a superior. Izuku. You wanna try me, rat? Nezu. I don't believe there's any point in me doing that since you're going to Tartarus. Tsukauchi. Question, you listed here the quirk Soul Fire as original. Izuku. Yes. Tsukauchi. Would you then say that you weren't born quirkless? Izuku. Yes. Tsukauchi looks down at the handheld device to see that the green light was glowing. Tsukauchi. Truth. Endeavor. Whisper what's going on. RG. Whisper this is going against the medical record. Midnight. Whisper maybe there was a mistake of sorts. S-Genist. Whisper maybe there's something the Jade Dragon has been hiding. Tsukauchi. Could you go into detail about your quirk? Izuku. The quirk was formed from the combination of my original quirk which I dubbed Soul Battery and some random fire quirk. My original quirk, Soul Battery, would increase the power of another's quirk for the cost of my life force. Now that it's become Soul Fire, I should allow me to convert my life force into fuel for powerful flames. But. Nezu. But. Toga. Izuku. Izuku. But nothing. Tsukauchi. I suppose we can leave it at that. I'm going to ask a few questions about you personally. Izuku. Okay. Tsukauchi. For your education, you attended Aldera Junior High, yes? Izuku. No, I never attended junior high or any other educational facility. Tsukauchi looks down at the device to see both buttons lit up. Tsukauchi. Nezu. What's wrong? Tsukauchi. Both buttons lit up. Endeavor. What? Izuku. Oh, is your device broken? Tsukauchi. Interesting. Tell me, are you familiar with a Kitsumi Bakugo? Izuku clutches his head as he feels a sharp pain. Toga. Izuku. Izuku. I'm fine. And no, I don't know a Kitsumi Bakugo. Tsukauchi. Same result. Do you know the names of your parents? Izuku. I don't. Tsukauchi. Again. Nezu. This is quite strange. Endeavor. But what does it mean? Tsukauchi. Let me rephrase that, do you have a family? Izuku. I have no family. Tsukauchi. Oh. That one was just a lie. Izuku's eyes widen and he breaks out in a cold sweat. Toga. Izuku. Nezu. I thought you had no intention of lying. Tsukauchi. You're hiding something, aren't you? Izuku. That question isn't important here, you've no reason to pester me about something like that. Nezu. That question seems to have made you agitated quite a bit. But fair enough, we'll stop with that one. Tsukauchi. Tell me, where were you brought up as a child? Izuku. On the streets. I was an abandoned child. Tsukauchi. Double light again. How did you lose your eye? Izuku. I got caught in the crossfire between hot ass over here and some other villain as a child and lost my eye. Nezu. Really? Do you have any memory of this, Endeavor? Endeavor. I think I'd remember almost killing a child. Tsukauchi. Doesn't matter if you remember. It's double lights too. Lad. Anyone else following what they're saying? Boruko. I stopped listening a while ago. Tsukauchi. Nezu, Endeavor, Toshinori, can I talk to you three outside? Nezu. Sure. Excuse us. The four of them exit the room, leaving Izuku and Toga with the others. Nezu. So, what do you think? Tsukauchi. Something definitely isn't righter. The questions which we ourselves already know the answers to seem to produce two correct answers from him. Endeavor. That shouldn't be possible. The answer should be recognized as either a lie or a truth. All Might. What do you think it means? Tsukauchi. According to the students, he had some sort of reaction from hearing his father's name. He also reacted aggressively when he confronted Katsumi Bakugo. We also saw it just now when we mentioned her name. Could it possibly be? All Might. Do you have an idea? Tsukauchi. I've only heard about this, but there were reports of some people in the past losing their memories after being assaulted by a villain. The villain was supposedly caught, but there are no official records. Supposing there was someone before him in there who had the ability to steal quirks, it's possible that the villain's quirk was stolen and used to alter his memories. But it's possible that somewhere deep in his subconscious, his memories may be intact. That would explain why there are both lies and truths in his answer. His subconscious knows the truth, while his current personality only understands its own altered version of the truth. Nezu. That does sound like the only plausible option. And it would explain his drastic change from him a year ago to him now. Endeavor. Again, that doesn't change anything. Even if his memories had been altered to make him side against a hero society, and even if he had been ordered to kill hundreds, it doesn't change the fact that he's killed literal hundreds of people. He deserves punishment. He can't just be left off the hook. Nezu. I agree. His power is still dangerous. Manipulated or not, he still has to face the consequences and be restrained for the safety of everyone. Tsukauchi. Agreed. There's no point in questioning him any further since he won't yield us any more information. Let's just arrest him and deal with his partner. All Might. Excuse me. Tsukauchi. Oh, you are. Meanwhile, inside the nurse's office. Present Mick. Do you have to do that? Mick says as he refers to Toga, who's biting into Izuku's neck. Toga. If I let go, you're just gonna separate us. Besides, I'm hungry and Izukun's blood is so tasty. Bang Orca. I pray to God that this isn't a thing that regular high school kids are into. Izuku. Anybody got any candy or something? I'm feeling a bit lightheaded. Lad. We ain't got no candy to spare for villains. Izuku. How mean. Just then, Nezu and the others walk in through the door. Izuku. Oi, how long do you plan on keeping me here? I answered your question, so hurry up and get it over with. Nezu. No need to be impatient, we'll be getting to that soon. Tsukauchi. Before we do though, we have someone here to see you off. We figured she at least deserves to see you once after the police informed her you were alive. Tsukauchi steps aside and Izuku widens his eyes. In front of him stood a green-haired woman holding something in her hands. Izuku begins hyperventilating and his heart starts beating faster. My God, it really is you, Izuku. I'm sorry, Izuku. Izuku can't say anything and can only sit there in a sort of panic state, much to the notice of the others. Crying, my sweet little Izuku. The woman says as she runs up to Izuku and pulls him into a hug with her one arm. Izuku's body starts locking up and his mind starts going blank. Toga. Izukun. Ah, not again, snap out of it. Toga says as she grabs Izuku by the face and makes him look at her. Izuku looks her in the eyes and seems to calm down and regain his senses a bit. He pushes himself away from the woman in front of him and backs away. Izuku. Stay away from me. Izuku. What's wrong? Don't you recognize me? Izuku. I don't know who the hell you are, but you're giving me the same feeling that dragon gave me. Izuku, it's me, Inko, your mother. Izuku. Am my mom? Toga. Izukun, is she really your mom? Izuku. Aye. Tsukauchi. What's the matter? You seem confused. Oh, that's right, you said you were an orphan. I guess you weren't expecting to have a mother. Izuku. Oh, of course I have a mother, it's basic human biology, but that doesn't change a damn thing. Inko. Orphan. Izuku, what are talking about? You're my and Hisashi's son. Toga. Izuku is the Jade Dragon's son. Izuku. Even if I am, I don't care about either of you, I've long since grown past the need for parents, don't think that I'll just accept the both of you, because we share blood I would rather huh. Izuku looks at the thing wrapped in a blanket that Inko is holding in her hands. She notices him looking and unwraps the blanket to reveal a small green-haired and emerald-eyed infant. Inko. You didn't get a chance to meet her. She was born nearly a year after we thought you died. Her name is Aizu. Izuku looks at the green-haired infant who looks at him with a blank expression that matches his own. Toga. Oh my god, she's so cute, it's like looking at a little Aizu-kun. And her cheeks look so squishable. Midnight. Don't you dare touch that child. Tsukauchi. Mrs. Midoriya, if I may. There's something I should tell you. Inko looks at Tsukauchi who's leaning against the door. She turns back to look at Izuku for a moment before walking up to Tsukauchi. Tsukauchi. I'm sorry ma'am, but that person sitting there isn't your son. Inko. What do you mean? Tsukauchi. After questioning him and discussing with Nezu and Endeavor, we came to the conclusion that his memories had been altered by an unknown individual. This person has no memories of his old life or memories of you and your husband as his parents. He believes he was abandoned and raised on the streets. He's a merciless monster who kills on command. Inko. No, that can't be true. Tsukauchi. I'm afraid it is. Even if the real him remains somewhere in there, we don't know how to bring him back. And his crimes cannot be excused. I suggest you use the time you have now to say where's your child. Inko. Huh. Inko looks down to see that Aizu had been replaced by a blanket folded in the shape of a baby. Inko. Aizu. Vlad. Release the child. Midnight. Let go of her, you crazy vampire. Midnight and Vlad yell as they refer to Toga who is holding Aizu. Toga. Oh, you're so adorable. Upside daisy. Toga says as she lifts Aizu up in the air and lets go of her for a second. She catches her and repeats the process a few times until Aizu smiles and giggles. Toga. All my heart's melting, look at her, isn't she adorable, Izuku? Toga holds Aizu up to Izuku. Izuku stares at the infant blankly for a moment. He slowly moves his finger closer to her and pokes her on the nose. She giggles and grabs his finger. Izuku blushes and turns his head away from her. Toga. Come on Izuku, you have to look. Izuku. I can't handle kids. Toga. Geez, our kids are probably gonna look like her, so you need to get some practice in for the future. Present Mick. Goddamn hormonally active teens. Dang Orca. They do realize they don't have a future, right? Best Genist. I suggest you return the baby before we take her from you by force. Toga. No, I wanna hold on to her a little longer. Izuku. Himiko. Toga. Alright, fine. Bye-bye little Aizu-chan. Toga hands the baby to recovery girl who hands her to Inko. Inko walks up to Izuku and looks him directly in the eyes. Inko. Izuku, please tell me the truth. Do you really not feel anything when you look at me? Do you really not remember me or your father? Izuku looks at Inko with a blank face. He closes his eyes and sighs before looking back at her with a glare. Izuku. I have no memories of either of you. I couldn't care less for the two of you. It wouldn't mean anything to me if the both of you got killed. Inko. Izuku crying I see. If that's how you feel then that's fine by me, I just want you to know smile, I'm so happy that you're alive. The image of Hisashi suddenly flashes in Izuku's mind. He can feel his heart beating faster and he has a distraught look on his face. Before everyone's eyes, tears start flooding from Izuku's left eye. Izuku notices this and punches himself hard in the face to stop the tears. Nezu. Are you going to tell her about the collar? Tsukauchi. Once this is all over. Anyways, Mrs. Midoriya, you've said your goodbyes. It's time. Inko. Okay. Endeavor. Get up, brat. We're ending this. Izuku. Yeah, whatever. Toga. No. Izuku. Himiko, let go. Toga. Never. Izuku. You have to. Oi, skank. Midnight. Huh. Are you referring to me? Genist. I find it more worrisome that you immediately recognize that he was talking about you. Izuku. Hurry up and put Himiko to sleep. I don't care if you put me to sleep too. Midnight. You little fine, but that's only so we can end this madness. Nezu. Well, I suppose this is the end of the hero killer, hero. Farewell. Midnight grabs the thin cloth covering her body. She is about to rip it until her hand is grabbed by someone else. All Might. Wait just a moment. Midnight. Huh. Tsukauchi. Nezu. Oh. Endeavor. What is the meaning of this, old man? All Might. There's something I'd like to confirm before you take him away. Could you please grant me a minute or two to do that? Endeavor. If you wanted to do that, then you should have asked while we were interrogating him. I don't give damn about what you need to know. Nezu. It's okay. I'll allow it. Endeavor. Hey, rat. Nezu. But only because it's you. All Might. Thank you. One more thing, can you please leave me alone with him? What I'm about to discuss with him here cannot by any means be heard by another person or leave this room. Nezu. You'll be speaking about him, won't you? That's understandable. The world isn't ready for that. Endeavor. What are you talking about? Nezu. You'll learn about it soon enough. Come on, let's give them some privacy. Azawa and 13 won't wake up for a while, so there's no need to worry about them. Nezu says as he walks towards the door. He stops however to turn around and look at All Might. Nezu. Be careful though. He's still a deadly villain. Nezu walks out the door. Izuku. Himiko, you go with them. You probably shouldn't hear this either. Toga. I already said it to you, I'm not leaving you. Izuku smiles and grabs Toga's hand. Her entire body apart from her head gets crystallized. Toga. Hey, what the? Izuku. That should keep her immobile. Take her and get out. Toga. Wait, no, Izuku, stop. Toga screams as she gets carried away by Hound Dog. Everyone follows through the door and leaves All Might and Izuku alone. Izuku looks at the skinny fellow before him with a confident smile. Izuku. Now then, what is it you want from me, All Might? All Might. So you are already aware of who I really am. Izuku. I must admit, it's quite pleasant to see the No.1 hero brought down to this pitiful form. If only the world could see you now. All Might. Please answer me, is he still alive? All for one. Izuku. I cannot say. All Might. What is he planning? Izuku. I cannot say. All Might. Why did he pass on his quirk to you? What made him do this to you? Izuku. I cannot say. All Might. Please, tell me what is your dream? Izuku. My dream? My only objective in life is to serve my master. What he seeks is the complete annihilation of the hero society. And I will do so by killing you and all other heroes. All Might. I see you truly no longer are the boy I met that day. Izuku. That day? What are you talking about? All Might. That boy whose dream I shot down, who I drove to attempting suicide, who I thought died because of my mistake is now under his control. Izuku. Suicide. All Might. Do you remember the last words you told me? Please let me die. I don't see any reason for me to live on. Izuku. You're crazy. All Might. And even after everything I'd said to you, you did what I couldn't. You put my own words into practice and risked your life for you, friend. Izuku. Yep, definitely crazy. All Might. If only I'd been a little faster that day, if only I'd just lied to you, if only I wasn't too blind to see your true potential, so many lives wouldn't have been lost and your life wouldn't have gone down such a path. I'm sorry, young man. Izuku. I don't know what you're talking about. You must have me confused with someone else. All Might. I know these words seem meaningless to the current you, but for the sake of the you that once was, please let me say this. All Might transforms into his muscular form. He gets down on both knees and bows down in front of Izuku. Izuku smirks and raises his finger. His fingertip glows with the light of laser. He's about to fire, but stops when he hears the sound of crying. All Might. Crying, I'm sorry, your life has become irredeemable because of my mistake. I've no right to call myself a hero. I know these words have no meaning for you, but I have to say them. I should have said this when we first had met. You can be a hero. All Might. Yells at the top of his lungs while shedding tears. Izuku simply looks down upon him with an unamused expression. Izuku. Is that really what you had to say to me? What? Did you think hearing that would suddenly cause some sort of revelation? I'm not that weak-willed a person. All you did was waste your time and breath. All Might. I know. Izuku. Now that you've said what you wanted to say, bring the others back again. The sooner I get sent to that prison, the sooner I can figure out how to break with the… All Might looks up to Izuku to see a tear dripping from his right eye. Izuku. This is impossible. I don't have tear glands in my right eye. What the hell is this? All Might. You're still in there, aren't you, young man? Please, show me a sign. Izuku. I don't know what's going on but… Izuku is interrupted as tears start gushing forth from his eye like a faucet. Izuku. Wait, this is flash flooding. But, I'm not using it to hell. All Might. He's still alive. The real you is still alive, young man. If you can hear me, I'll find a way to save you, I promise. Izuku. You freaking madman, get the hell back. All Might. I can't let them take you away yet, I need more time. All Might says as he bites down on his index finger, causing it to bleed. Izuku. Wait, what are you? All Might. I already decided it had to be you, so I have no regret about this. All Might thrusts his bloody finger into one of the holes in Izuku's chest made by his own fingers. Izuku. You bastard, do you have any idea what you've just? Izuku suddenly clutches his chest as he feels something surging throughout his body. Red veins appear and cover his whole body, causing All Might to smile. His expression changes however once he sees black veins appear and cover his body as well. Izuku lowers and clutches his head. He shakes it violently before throwing it back. He lets out an ear-deafening yell, and some type of power discharges from his body like an electrical storm. All Might transforms back into his skinny form and coughs up blood from the shock. The power shatters the windows of the room and blasts the sliding door apart from the wall. The others come rushing in to see what's happening. Endeavor. What's going on? Boruko. Whoa, what the hell is this? Doga and Inko. Izuku. Nezu. This power you didn't. Genist. He didn't show this type of power in the previous fight. Toga. He's in pain, do something. Present Mick. Then tell us how to stop it. Toga. I don't know, I've never seen this before. Izuku's power continues rising and the others worry on how to stop it. Suddenly the veins covering Izuku's body disappear and he passes out. At the same moment, Toga's body uncrystallizes. Geez, I can't even catch some sleep here. Everyone looks to the bed opposite Izuku's to see a mummified Eraserhead sitting up in the bed with his eyes open. Midnight. Aizawa. Present Mick. You really saved our skins there. Aizawa. Mick, what's going on here? Why is he here? Nezu. We'll fill you in on it later. Right now, there's something much more serious at hand. Toga. Izuku. Toga breaks away from Hound Dog and runs up to Izuku. She places her ear against his chest to listen for a heartbeat. Toga. Oh, thank God, he's alive. Endeavor. What happened in here, old man? All Might. I don't know. That sudden surge appeared out of nowhere. I'm just glad Aizawa. All Might is interrupted as he feels Nezu pull on his arm. His beady eyes look seriously upon him. Nezu. We need to talk. Nezu drags All Might out of the room and steps outside with him. He sits down on a bench and All Might stands in front of him. Nezu. You understand why I called you out, don't you? All Might. Yes. Nezu. You are aware of your position as the symbol of peace, correct? All Might. Yes. Nezu. Then you should be aware of the massive danger to the world that you've just created. All Might. Why yes. Nezu. What could you possibly have been thinking? You of all people know that All for One has been trying to obtain One for All who knows how many decades now. What you've done just now has practically handed it to him on a silver platter. All Might. I know, but this child can still be saved. I knew that had I simply asked you to be lenient with him, you would have denied me and sent him to Tartarus. Nezu. Over 100 deaths are the result of this child alone with the power he attained through All for One. Now you've given him power capable of surpassing your own. Do you think the world can possibly survive the combined power of those two quirks combined? And if he manages to get back to All for One, death is all but certain. You may be the symbol of peace, but you've single-handedly shifted the balance of power to villainous side. All Might. Please, hear me out. The day I met that child, I berated his dream of becoming a hero and warned him of the sacrifices they should be willing to make. Yet, he risked life to save his friend. He jumped in while I only stood there and watched. I believe that child has even greater potential as a hero than me. Nezu. You seem to have forgotten that he is no longer that same child. He has lost his humanity and become a killing machine. He tried to kill his own father. For God's sake, you are a teacher now, you should be aware of the danger he put your students in, yet now, you've endangered their safety once again, and at an even greater risk. All Might. I am aware that I am not fit to be called a teacher, let alone a hero. But, I truly believe this is a chance we cannot turn down with this child. We can turn All for One into a force for good. Please, I only ask that you give me time to do so. I promise, I will resign as a hero and teacher if I fail in doing so. Nezu places his palms over his eyes and takes a deep breath. Nezu. 1 year, All Might. I'll give you 1 year. All Might. Really? Thank you, Nezu, I promise. Nezu. Don't get me wrong, I agree that this is a great opportunity. Nezu takes his palm off his eyes to look All Might seriously. Nezu. If he isn't completely changed after exactly 1 year, I'll put an end to the cycle of One for All and All for One myself. All Might. Why you don't mean? Nezu. The world would be much more peaceful if neither of those quirks had existed in the first place. What better chance to get rid of them and restore peace than to get rid of the current holder? I suggest you use the time you have wisely. All Might stands there in shock from what Nezu proposed. Nezu on the other hand simply gets up off the bench and walks back inside. All Might follows after him nervously. Soon the two return to the nursing room. Endeavor. Rat, what were you talking about? Nezu. No need to worry about that. Anyways, you 4 pros can go. Maruko. Huh. S-Genist. You sure about that? What about them? Nezu. Worry not, we'll deal with them. I only ask you keep your eyes out for villain attacks in the future. Endeavor. Fine, we'll leave for now. Angorka. You better inform us if something happens. The 4 pros proceed to exit the room. Nezu then turns to Tsukauchi and Inko. Nezu. Detective Tsukauchi, could you please escort Mrs. Midoriya home? Tsukauchi. I understand that the situation has changed quite a bit. I just hope you inform me about what's going to happen. Nezu. I will. Mrs. Midoriya, don't worry, we'll keep you informed about your son's condition. Inko. Please do. Tsukauchi, let's go ma'am. There's something I need to tell you as well. The 2 walk out the door leaving only Izuku, Toga and the UA staff. Izawa. Nezu, what's going on? I thought you were going to hand him over to the police. Nezu. That power he displayed has changed the plan a bit. After speaking with All Might, I decided on the new course of action we should take. Toga. Wait, that guy's All Might. Nezu. Huh, I figured you would have known considering your partner there knew. Anyways, you said before that he can take orders in his normal state as long as you're registered as a superior, right? Is he still able to receive them while he's unconscious? Toga. Well, yeah, I mean, I only tried it once, but it seemed to work. Nezu. Good. I want you to register myself, Principal Nezu, Eraserhead as Awa Shota and All Might as superiors. Toga. Huh. Why should I? Nezu. Let me remind you that the only reason you 2 are still together is because I feel like it. I could separate you 2 and send him to the depths of Tartarus or much worse if I wanted to. Do you understand? Toga. Why yes. Nezu. Then you know what you need to do. Toga lowers her head down and whispers into Izuku's ears. She gets back up and looks at them with a solemn look. Toga. It's done. Nezu. Good. Midnight. Nezu, what exactly are you planning? Nezu. Majima, Heights Alliance is done, right? Power loader. Huh. Well, the dorms for first years are done, but those are all. Why do you want to know? Nezu. Sigh, I was hoping to save it as a surprise for the first years, but it'll have to do. Listen, we'll have the 2 of them stay there for now and attend classes. Hound dog. GRR. Vlad. What? Toga. Really? Midnight. You can't be serious. Nezu. When school starts again in 2 days, they'll be put in your class, Azawa. Azawa. After he almost killed them. Nick. Hey, Nezu, are you thinking straight? Nezu. I am. And I'm certain of my decision after witnessing that surge of power. He just awakened, that is, it isn't one of his listed quirks. Azawa. That doesn't explain why you're doing this, we should just send him to Tartarus. Nezu. I'd like to do so, but do you remember the camera in his eye? Everyone's eyes widen as the sudden realization hits. Nezu. Whoever is on the other side saw everything, including the awakening of his power. They'll be even more motivated to get him back now. Were we to just send him to Tartarus, they could just warp in there to rescue him and cause a massive jailbreak. If we were to keep him here though, we could use him as a hostage. Were they to warp here after him, they'd have to deal with an entire school of quirk users. And on top of that, they'd be risking the safety of their ally, since we now know about the explosive device. Toga. Explosive device. Ectoplasm. Hey, I know he's a villain, but that's. Nezu. I'm not saying we'll use it, I'm just saying that it's a countermeasure against them. Cementus. Okay, but why have them attend classes? Nezu. Consider it a rehabilitation project. Let's see if they can go from villains to heroes. RG. Nezu, are you? Nezu. My decision is final. I assume you have no argument, Ms. Himiko Toga. Toga. This way, I get to stay with my Aizu-kun. I'm fine with it. Nezu. Good. Anyways, it's getting late. Hound dog, power loader, take the 2 of them to their new living quarters. Hound dog. GRR. Power loader. Sigh Nezu, I really, and I mean, really don't like this. But, if you say so. Follow us, girly. Hound dog picks up the unconscious Izuku and walks out with power loader and Toga following behind. Izawa. Nezu, what is your real reason for doing this? Nezu. Haha, perhaps one day the world will be able to know. After walking for a while, Hound dog, power loader, Izuku and Toga find their way to a building with a sign saying Heights Alliance 1A. Hound dog drops Izuku on the ground, causing him to wake up. Power loader. Oh good, you're awake. Welcome to your new home. Izuku. Ugh, the hell. Power loader. Make yourselves at home, rooms are on the 2nd floor. You'll find a kitchen on the 1st floor, discover the rest for yourself. And don't even think about escaping, there are cameras inside and outside the building. Our loader says as he and Hound Dog walk away. Izuku. What's going on? Toga. I'll explain everything, Izuku. But before that, you need to explain some things for me too. Izuku. Himiko, alright, I'll tell you everything. After settling down in the building and cooking something to eat in the kitchen, the two find a room for the two of them, sit down on the bed and have a talk. Toga explains what happened after Izuku passed out. Izuku easily comprehends the situation. After Toga's explanation, it was Izuku's turn to explain. He explained to her everything that happened the past 2 days. Toga. So you've been having these weird visions of this shadowy figure. That explains that waking nightmare you had yesterday. And you haven't been able to use your quirks right since. Izuku. Yeah, Soldier and Soulfire aren't working for some reason. I can't access my emotionless state and my flames are red and burn me. And I tried using scan to try and figure out what that surge of power was, but it's not working either. I don't know what's going on. Toga grabs Izuku by the shoulder and looks him in the eye. Toga. It's alright. We'll figure it out and the solution will be right in front of us. Izuku. Smile. Yeah, you're right, Himiko. Toga. Still, one for all. It's crazy to think All Might's quirk came from the big boss and his brother. Izuku. Yeah. Master's been trying to attain it for decades. Toga. And now you've got it, the big boss is gonna be so happy once we get back. Izuku. Once we get back. Toga. Don't give me that look. We're gonna find our way back home. Rin is gonna be waiting for you, you know. Izuku. Oh my god, Rin. Toga. I can't believe she got the drop on me. Whatever, I can fix that soon enough. Izuku. I'm not gonna be there for her. Because I got us caught. Toga. Hey, it's not your fault. It's all Tamura's fault. He's the one who gave you that order. Izuku. I'm sure Tamura-sama had his reasons. I just don't know what they are yet. Toga. Well, at least he can't give you orders anymore. Izuku lets out a sigh and lies back on the bed. Izuku. Nothing will be the same from now on. We're being held against our will with almost no means of escape. I'm sorry you got caught up in this, Himiko. Izuku closes his eyes and lets out another deep sigh. His eyes open shortly after, however, as he feels a draft by his legs. He's able to see that his pants had been pulled off, leaving him in only his underwear, and is immediately met with Toga mounting him. Izuku. Himiko. Toga. Stop being so negative. If I didn't want to end up in a situation like this with you, I would have run away or wouldn't have forced my way on this mission in the first place. Wherever you go, I go. If you get caught, I get caught. I'll share in all of your problems. Toga says as she takes off her hoodie and shirt, leaving her bra exposed. Izuku. Himiko, what are you doing? Toga. Smile, you're looking down, so I'm gonna cheer you up the way you love best. Besides, it's been a while since we had a room for just the two of us. Toga undoes her bra and bares her ample breasts. Izuku blushes as he notices her hardened nubs and turns his head to look away. Izuku. I'm not exactly in the mood tonight. Toga. You always say that. And like always, your body is way too honest. Toga says as she refers to the bulge pressing against her womanhood. She smirks and slowly starts grinding against it. Izuku. That's a natural reaction. Toga. Smirk, haha. Toga slides back and lowers her head so it's right above the bulge. She grabs his underwear using her teeth. Toga. You're not getting any sleep tonight. Toga pulls back the underpants, leaving Izuku's not-so-little friend out for the world to see. Toga. Ida Akamasu. Izuku. Wait, Himiko. Himiko. Himi-ah. The next day, round about midnight. Rin, with her mask on, and Twice can be seen standing in front of a brick wall at the end of an alley. Rin. This the place? Twice. Yeah. Just gimme a sec. Twice pulls out what looks to be an old-fashioned phone. He presses a few buttons on the phone and waits for a second. Suddenly, the area surrounding them seems to turn to a blue hue. The two of them then vanish, and 2 black poker chips with heart symbols painted on them are left in their place. The two reappear in a dark room with the only light coming from a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. Across from them is a man sitting in a heart-shaped throne. He has several tattoos on his body, and his right arm has stitches around his wrist. He wore blue pants, a black shirt, a black feather coat on his back and a red hat on his head. Your hero's allies if I remember. Twice. Yep, that's us. You're Water, right? Pleased to meet you, you hick. Water. I already supplied you with the stock you ordered this month, so what do you want? And where is Hero? He's the only one who comes here. Rin. He's been captured. Water. Oh, didn't expect him to lose to heroes. Well, whatever. If you came to ask me for help in rescuing him, you're out of luck. I've no interest in helping clients outside of transactions. Rin. No. I know from Hero that you're that type of person. I came here because I want you to give me a quirk. Water. Oh, that I can help with. What kind of quirk are you looking for? Rin. I want a quirk that allows one to freely manipulate the effect of time on their body. Water. That's awfully specific. Why would you want him? Water raises his hand and opens his palm. Suddenly, the area surrounding them gains the blue hue from earlier. Water makes a circle with his hand and raises it up to his eye. He looks to Rin and focuses his gaze. Water. Oh, so that's it. You're playing a risky game, you know. Rin. I don't care, just tell me if you have the quirk I'm looking for. Water. HMPH, you've got an attitude. Though I'd expect it from his woman. Yeah, I've got just what you're looking for. I caught it recently and was going to offer it to your boss since he said he was looking for one similar, but… Rin materializes a suitcase in her hand and holds it up to Water. She opens it up to reveal it full of gold bars. Rin. Here, take it, I've got a lot more than this, so hurry up and name your price for the quirk. Water. Put that away. You'll need it for that thing inside you. I owe Hero one, so you get this for free. Rin. Oh really? Water. Yeah, just this once. Water widens his palm and expands the blue area. Water. Shambles. Water's red hat gets switched with a white one with brown spots. The blue area disappears and he stands up. He snaps his fingers and the entire area gets lit up. This reveals the place they were in to be a massive warehouse with many other people walking around. Rin and Twice can see countless medical beds with something on each bed covered by a white tarp. Twice. Whoa. Rin. This place is huge. Water. This way. Water walks through the sea of beds with Twice and Rin following behind him. Rin. Are they alive? Water. If they weren't, I wouldn't be able to get quirks out of them. They're just highly sedated. Though occasionally, some of them do drop dead. Here we are. Water stops in front of a rather large medical bed. Water. This person's quirk resides within their heart. I'll have to do a few tests before the transplant. Be warned, that thing's chance of survival is extremely minuscule. Rin. No need for surgery. I still have some of Hero's power left in the tank. Rin says as she grabs the body. A red light glows from her palm and quickly fades. Rin. There, I've got it. Thank you, Water. Water. Don't mention it. Just don't expect any more freebies. Rin. I won't. But can I count on you when I decide it's time? Water. I'm a doctor, if you have enough money, I'll do it for you. Rin. Thank you. Aizu-kun, don't worry. I'll keep them safe until we can get you and Toga back to us. The next day, UA High School, Class 1A. Invisible Girl. Hey, did you watch the news last night? Hale boy. Yeah. Invisible Girl. Did you see how everyone in class was on screen for a second? I didn't stand out at all. Octo boy. Didn't you? Hale boy. Well, it's hard to stand out like that, right? Electric boy. The media made a huge deal out of it though. Earlobes. It only makes sense, doesn't it? The hero course that pumps out pros got attacked. Zero. That fight was crazy though. Even with the teachers we almost didn't make it out alive. Who knows what would have happened if they weren't there. Rapist. Stop it, Zero, just thinking about it is making me wet myself. Momo. Please don't, Mineta. Sato. I'm still hurting even after getting healed though. Mary. You, Kota and Shoji got hit by that crazy guy's attack, right? Momo, Hajiro, Iida, Mina and Kirishima too, right? Anyone would still be feeling that. Kirishima. Yeah, he broke through my hardening like it was nothing. Momo. He almost killed all of the teachers as well. It was frightening. Mineta. Thinking about him is giving me shivers. Though Koyami. You only saw him while he still had his mask on. Once it was destroyed, he became a real monster. Electric boy. He was super scary, he ripped off his own hands. Mary. He was way more insane than that bird thing. We're just lucky he exhausted himself. Todoroki. The hero killer, Hero. Despite being the one who caused the most damage not only here but in the rest of society for the past year as well, there was no mention of him in last night's news. Am I the only one who noticed that? Iida. It's quite strange. We even learned his real name yesterday. Zero. Izuku Midoriya, right? Mary. It was Bakugo who mentioned it, right? Kirishima. Ever since then though she's been quiet. Kirishima says as he looks to Bakugo who is staring out the window with a frustrated expression on her face. Mina. Say, Sue, do you think she knows him? Sai. I'd say she has to somehow. The door to the classroom slides open and the mummified Eraserhead walks in. Izawa. Morning. Everyone. You're back too soon. Electric boy. You're too much of a pro. Iida. Are you alright, Aizawa-sensei? Aizawa. My well-being doesn't matter. It's good to see you're all safe though. Electric boy. Gasp, he actually cares. Zero. I don't believe it. Aizawa. Anyways, this may be sudden and coming out of nowhere, but this class is getting 2 new students. Everyone. EA. Bajiro. New classmates, now. Kirishima. This is just what we needed to get us out of that terrible mood. Mina. I wonder what they're like. Maybe they're super fun. Mineta. Who cares about personalities? As long as they're hot chicks, it doesn't matter. Mary. You're disgusting. Iida. How many are we getting, sir? Shoji. What genders are they? Zero. Where are they from? Electric boy. Did they also take the entrance exam? Aizawa. Silence. Aizawa activates his quirk, effectively silencing the entire class. Aizawa. To answer your question, there's 2 of them. They're here under special conditions. Try and make them feel comfortable or whatever. Oi, you 2, get in here already. The students look to the door excited for the new faces. Their faces however go extremely pale when they see the 2 very familiar faces. Izuku wearing the school uniform, a metal collar and a bandana as an eye patch, is followed by Toga wearing the girl's uniform. Bakugo along with a brown-haired girl immediately turn to look at Izuku. They both stop to face the students. Aizawa. Go on, introduce yourself. Izuku. I am Hiro. First impressions. Izuku. I am Hiro. Izuku's rather half-assed introduction is met with a class full of terrified and confused students. Aizawa. Your real name. Izuku. Sai, I am Izuku. Aizawa. Your full name. Izuku. I refuse to identify by that last name. Toga. Hi everyone, my name's Toga Himiko and this is my hubby, Izuku. Nice to meet you all. Izuku. Himiko-sama, please don't be so enthusiastic about this. Kitsumi. Deku. Izuku and Toga look to see Kitsumi jumping from her desk and leaping at Izuku. Izuku's eyebrow furrows and a vein bulges on his forehead. Using bone shift, Izuku bends his upper body backwards at a perfect 90 degrees angle. This causes Kitsumi to go flying straight into the blackboard and fall to the ground. Izuku bends back up and turns to Aizawa. Izuku. You can't blame that one on me, that was self-defense, and I didn't touch her. Aizawa. Alright, you get a pass for that one. Bakugo, get back in your seat before I give you detention. Kitsumi grunts angrily as she gets up. She gives a glare at Izuku before taking back her seat. Aizawa. Good. Now how about you try and break the ice? Try saying something about yourselves. Toga. Okay, well my favorite things are blood, knives and Izuku. Izuku. Even without my quirks, I can kill you all with my bare hands. Those 2 lines only further intensify the disturbed and terrified expressions of the class. Aizawa. Well, that was clearly a mistake. Just go and sit down. Take the 2 seats at the back of the class. Izuku and Toga walk down the aisle of desks. The students all cautiously watch the duo and are met with a hellishly cold death glare. Izuku sits down in a desk behind Yayoi Rozu and Toga sits in the desk behind his. The class then all immediately turn to look at their teacher. Aizawa. Judging by those looks you're giving me, I'd say you've all got questions. Everyone. Of course we do. Mary. What in the heck are they doing here? Zero. These guys are seriously super dangerous villains. Mineta. They literally tried to kill us and you teachers a few days ago. Enki. The red one is absolutely psychotic, you saw him rip off his hands, right? Mina. They're both wanted for the violent murders of heroes, shouldn't they be in prison for that? Tenya. Why are they wearing the school uniform? And why are they in our class? Aizawa. Right, settle down. Now because of reasons I can't explain because they're being withheld by the principal, these 2 will be joining the class on a sort of rehabilitation trial period. That's about as much as I'm allowed to tell you. Welp, you guys can use the rest of homeroom to get to know them. Aizawa says as he proceeds to instantly fall asleep in his chair. Everyone. Sensei. With their teacher now asleep, the class feels an overwhelming sense of dread behind them. Mineta. Hey, what are supposed to do now? I can feel the bloodlust behind me. Toru. They're gonna kill us, they're totally gonna kill us for revenge. Mary. Stay calm, they can probably sense fear. Shoji. That's bullshit and it's impossible to stay calm in this situation. Sai. Aizawa-sensei is the only one who can stop them and now he's asleep. Momo. Alright, let's be rational. If we face them head on, we'll be telling them we aren't afraid and they'll be less likely to attack us. The class steels their nerves and take deep breaths. At the count of 3, they all turn around to face Izuku and Toga. They're met with the sight of Izuku sleeping in his desk and Toga drinking something through a straw. Everyone. He's out cold too. Toga notices all of them staring at her and Izuku and gives them a little wave. Mineta. What do we do in this situation? They don't exactly seem intimidated. Zero. In fact, they seem rather confident to let their guard down in front of us. Toga. You know, you guys don't have to be so cautious of us. We're not gonna bite. Very. Somehow, I doubt that. Toru. Okay, one of us has to approach them and show the rest of us it's safe. Mineta. Pretty sure that's your job, class rep. Denya. What? Very well then. I suppose it should be me who takes the first step in potentially dangerous situations. Denya composes himself and starts walking robotically towards Izuku and Toga. Denya. Gee, greetings, I am. Toga. SHH, can't you see my Izuku is sleeping? Denya. I apologize. But this is a classroom and he shouldn't be napping during school. Toga. Oh, don't blame him for that. I was the one who kept him awake the whole night. Denya. Doing what? Toga. Oh, you know. It was just a long, steamy, and sensual night of playing video games. Denya. Oh, that's not as bad as I thought. Toga. Yeah, but we only had one controller and Izuku's joystick was just way too long and thick for me. Mineta. Look, I'm all about sexual innuendo, but maybe not at school. I don't want to be walking around all day with my waist tucked in. Toga. Anyways, you guys ain't gotta be so distant, we're part of this class now too. Extremely skeptical, the rest of the class inch closer to them. Hearing them come closer, Izuku wakes up and opens his left eye. Izuku. Why the hell are you bozos watching me sleep? Bunch of weirdos. Mina. You're calling us weirdos. You ripped your hands off the other day and fired lasers out of your chest like a robot. Izuku. And you look like you should be from another planet, we're both not normal, honey. Sai. Speaking of which, how do you have hands again? Izuku. I just grew new ones with a bit of help from recovery granny. Mineta. Humans don't normally grow hands back. Izuku. Pretty sure I just said I'm not normal. Very. Okay, let's cut the crap. Why the hell are you two here? Why did the teachers let you in here and are you planning on attacking us after what happened 2 days ago? Izuku. Alright, don't get your panties in a twist. You think we want to be here? I was willing to get sent to Tartarus, but knew All Might had to step in and now we're stuck here for a year. Momo. Wait, All Might. Kirishima. He's part of this. Izuku. And if you're worried about me trying to hurt you, don't. I'm under orders not to hurt you. Denya. Orders. Toga. My Izuku here has a quirk that makes him obey every order he hears from a superior. Your teacher, principal and All Might are registered as superiors. They ordered him to not hurt you guys so he's physically incapable of doing so. Zero. That sounds more like a curse than a quirk. Hyoka. I've never heard of a quirk that benefits someone else besides the user. Izuku. And if you're still not convinced, this collar I'm wearing will send my head flying with the push of a button from Eraserhead over there. Toru. Even for a villain that seems kinda extreme. Izuku. Yawn, I'm tired. Himiko, you want anything? Toga. Nah, I'm good. Izuku holds out his right hand. All of a sudden, a common energy drink materializes in his palm. He cracks open the can and starts drinking. Denya. Food and drinks aren't allowed in class except for during lunchtime. Izuku. Denya. The same applies for you, miss. What are you drinking? It is at this point that the class notices that the straw Toga is sucking on is connected to the back of Izuku's neck. Everyone. Mina. Are you drinking him? Toga. I told you blood was one of my favorite things. Enki. We didn't think that meant you liked drinking it. Sato. How are you okay with this? She's drinking your blood like cola. Izuku. Wouldn't be the first thing she's sucked out of me. Mineta. Alright, that one deserves a rim shot. Izuku. Besides, I keep tons of my blood stashed away so I can always replenish. Izuku says as he finishes his energy drink. He then opens his mouth widely and proceeds to eat the can. He swallows the last of it while the class watches with wide eyes. Shoji. Did you just eat a can? Izuku. Yeah, and what of it? Mineta. Okay, these two are definitely crazy. Momo. Excuse me. Izuku. GRR. Momo. Are you perhaps made with me? Toga. You did hit him in his jewels with a metal rod. Izuku. Piss, just say what you want already. Momo. Alright. It's just that your materialization ability seems familiar, yet I don't think I've heard of one that can create actual edible food. Izuku. Sigh, what I have isn't a materialization ability. I can ingest inorganic objects and substances and store them in my body. I can isolate and reproduce the materials they're comprised of. In other words, I can't do anything if I haven't already ingested materials. Sigh. Does that mean you'd already drank that energy drink before? Izuku. No, food goes straight to my stomach. I have the ability to swap out objects I touch with objects in my storage. I can store food that way. It doesn't go bad and food stays warm or cold. Hyoka. He's like a walking oven and fridge. Toru. Alright, me next, what's with the eye patch? Izuku. Why do you think? It's to block my right eye. Toru. Why? Izuku. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a bloody cyborg. I've got a plug in the side of my head and a mechanical eye that functions as a camera. You really think your teachers want me to record everything I see? Toru. I see your point. Izuku. You're kind of an airhead, aren't you? Denya. Why do you have a mechanical eye? Izuku. Why don't you ask little Miss Vanilla Cherry over there? It was her dad who did this to me. Izuku says as he looks to Shoko who's sitting nearby. She turns in her seat to look at Izuku. Shoko. So my father did that. Izuku. Yeah, burned half my face and incinerated my eye. That's the kind of thing you don't forget. Pitsumi. Bullshit. Izuku. Pitsumi stands up from her desk and walks up to Izuku. Pitsumi. That's bullshit. Endeavor never did anything to you. I was the one who did that to your eye. Izuku. GRR, you again. What the hell are you talking about? Pitsumi. Stop pretending that you don't remember me. We grew up together. We're bloody best friends. Don't talk to me like we're strangers. Izuku. NGH, damn it again with this. Izuku pulls the straw out of his neck and stands up to Kitsumi. Izuku. Listen, I don't know who you are, but you keep giving me these hellish headaches. It's like my mind is ripping itself in half, so stop spouting your goddamn nonsense. Pitsumi. Nonsense. I watched you die in front of me by my hand. Do you have any idea how many nights I laid awake because your dying smile was haunting me? Your family, your last words to me, did they mean nothing? Izuku. Ugh, enough already, leave me alone you crazy hitch, I'm tired of listening to your lies. Pitsumi. Lies, huh? Well, try telling me this is a lie. Pitsumi yells as she reaches into her pocket. She pulls out her phone and holds it in front of Izuku's eyes. It takes a second for Izuku to realize what he's looking at, but seeing the screensaver causes his eye to widen. The screensaver appears to be a picture of a young him with green hair and eyes playing with a young version of Kitsumi. Pitsumi. Go ahead, tell me this is a lie, I dare you. Izuku feels his heart hammering in his chest and a pain in his head. Izuku. This isn't real. I've been missing my eye since childhood and I naturally had black hair at that age. Pitsumi. No you didn't, your hair's been green since birth and you had Uncle Hisashi's eyes. Izuku. Enough. Izuku raises his right fist and it becomes enveloped in crimson flames. Izuku. Say another bloody damn word and I'll rip your bucking throat. Before Izuku can yell out another word, he feels Toga hug him from behind. Toga. Izuku-kun, please calm down. Don't do anything you regret. Izuku looks at Toga and finds his composure. At this moment the sensation and smell of his flesh burning sets in. His collar then makes a beeping noise followed by a mechanical sound. Izuku looks to Izawa to see him holding some sort of device reminiscent of a handheld detonator in his hand. Izuku sighs and extinguishes his flames. Using thermal regulation, he returns his body temperature to normal. Seeing this, Izawa disarms Izuku's collar. Izuku stares Kitsumi dead in the eye with a killer glare. Izuku. Get out of my face. Kitsumi grits her teeth and lowers her head. She turns around and starts walking back to her desk. Kitsumi. I won't stop. Not until you accept who you are and turn back into my Deku. Kitsumi sits down at her desk with her ending statement angering Izuku. Meanwhile the rest of the class is standing there in complete silence, unaware of how to respond to that whole scenario they just witnessed. Mineta. Should we say something? Mary. After all that, I don't think that's a good idea. Also, we really gotta talk to Bakugo later. Momo. Agreed. Perhaps we should wait until he calms down before trying to engage him in conversation again. Shoji. Yeah, he does look pretty mad. Just like the octopus boy says, Izuku is grinding his teeth out of anger. His eye shifts to his desk before shifting Toga. Izuku. Himiko-sama, it'd be easier for you to drink my blood if we shared a desk, correct? Toga. Yeah, I guess so. Izuku. Okay. Oi, Eraserhead, it's fine if we share one desk, right? Izawa. Sure, why not? Izuku. Great. Izuku removes Toga's arms from around him and proceeds to grab the leg of his desk. He then effortlessly lifts the desk above his head. He opens his mouth wide and his teeth become razor sharp and shark-like. The class watches on as Izuku completely devours the desk as well as the chair. He then devours Toga's desk and chair. After doing so, Izuku proceeds to take off the upper half of his uniform. His upper body starts glowing and a wider desk complete with 2 reclining chairs attached to it appears in front of him. Izuku. Whew, there, done. Everyone. Is that how he vents? Izuku sits in the right chair of the desk and leans back in it. Toga proceeds to lie next to him and stabs the straw in his neck again. He's about to doze off again, however he's stirred from his daze by another figure walking up to him. Ichako. Deku-san. Izuku. Huh? Izuku says with a snarl as he turns with an irritated face to the girl standing next to him. Izuku. The hell did you call me? Everyone. Ichako Uraraka. Ichako. Sorry, do you not like that name? Izuku. No, just hearing it fills me with rage. Ichako. I'm sorry, it's just that name, it sounds to me like the Japanese word for you can do it and I like it and think it's cool. Izuku. Huh. That I actually don't mind it in that context. Ichako. So would it be alright for me to call you Deku? Izuku. Ugh, sure, why not? Everyone. She made progress. Izuku's cheek then gets pinched and pulled by Toga lying by his side. Toga. Izuku-kun, why are you being so nice to this random lass? Izuku. Since when do you say lass? And I don't know, I just don't mind her giving me a nickname. Toga. Izuku-kun, you aren't thinking about cheating, are you? Izuku. For your own safety, just say what you must and go. Ichako. Oh okay. I just wanted to know if you still remember me. Izuku. If I remember you? Wait, I remember you. You're that girl from back then, with those quirkless guys. Ichako. Yes, that's me. Toga. You know her, Izuku-kun. Izuku. Remember when I told you about that girl from the hospital? This is her. Toga. So you're the floozy who got her hands all over my Izuku-kun. Izuku. What's with you and your recent word choice? Anyways, she was injured and needed medical help, what did you want me to do? Whisper. Besides, if I killed her and stole her quirk it'd possibly bring suspicion towards Master. Toga. GRR, I guess, but I still don't like it. Ichako. I understand that you're a villain, but I really want to thank you properly for what you did for me. Izuku. Thank me. Ichako. If it wasn't for you, who knows what those men would have done to me. And you even showed me generosity with that golden necklace. Toga. The what? Izuku. I was testing out Munch. Ichako. From the bottom of my heart, I sincerely thank you and hope we can get along. You really are my hero. Hearing this, Izuku simply stares at the girl blankly. After a moment of staring, Izuku turns to face upwards. He then creates a blanket and uses it to cover his whole body. Toga. Izuku-kun. Izuku. Whatever, I'm going to bed. Everyone. What just happened? Izawa. With the exception of that rather rough morning, the day goes rather normally with Izuku and Toga not paying attention and just relaxing at the back of the class. The news of the sports festival brings excitement to the class but just blows through Izuku and Toga's ears. Soon enough, lunch comes around. Izuku and Toga stand up from their desk, causing everyone to turn to them. Izuku. I'm hungry. Eraserhead, it's fine for us to head for the cafeteria, right? None of them know who we actually are. Izawa. Fine, but you'll be under supervision from me. Izuku. As long as I can get something decent to eat. Izuku and Toga walk to the classroom door with everyone watching them. Izuku opens the door and finds Nezu standing there in front of him. Nezu. Hello. Izuku. You damn rat, what the hell do you want? Nezu. My, aren't you cranky? You look tired. You know you really should take better care of yourself and get more sleep, it's important for your health after all. Toga. Hey, I'll have you know we're both responsible adolescents who know how to take care of our own well-being. Izawa. Yesterday we found you both blacked out, covered in sweat and buck naked in the common area and surrounded by melted ice cream, caramel corn and bubbles that appeared to be from a bubble bath. Toga. Well, how do you spend movie night? Izuku. Speak rat before she says something else. Nezu. Well, I just came here to speak with the class. And since you're heading to lunch, why don't you two go straight to the staff room for it? All Might will be waiting there for you. Izuku. TCH, you know I don't have the ability to disobey you. Let's go, Himiko-sama. Toga. Okay. And with that, Izuku and Toga make their way to the staff room. Nezu. Now then, we have a talk about your current situation. Tenya. Sir, could you please explain what's going on? Nezu. Why certainly. As you're all aware, the two who joined your class are wanted criminals. The vampire, real name. Toga Himiko. Wanted for assault, larceny and the multiple murders of both heroes and civilians. She also happens to be incredibly attached to her partner. Speaking of which, hero killer hero, real name. Izuku Midoriya. Wanted for assault, larceny, kidnapping, over 100 murder convictions, the majority of which were heroes and possible acts of terrorism in America. His case is a lot more complicated and the reason they're here. Mr. Midoriya here happens to be the son of the retired and hospitalized rank 67 hero, Hisashi Midoriya, and until recently was a normal student, much like the rest of you. Mina. Wait, he's the son of the Jade Dragon, one of Japan's top heroes. Zero. Wait, wasn't the hero killer the one who put the Jade Dragon in the hospital? Momo. Does that mean he tried to kill his own father? Nezu. Yes, you're all quite right. Sai. You said until recently that he was a normal student. What do you mean by that? Nezu. Ah yes, that's the complicated part. I'm sure many of you know of the slime villain attack that happened 1 year ago. I'm sure Ms. Bakugo does since she was the hostage in question. Toru. Yeah, that made the news that day. Nezu. It was during this incident that Izuku Midoriya was thought to have been killed. Izawa. His fatal injury was a large explosion directly to the face, that should explain his scar and eye. Kirishima. An explosion Bakugo. Kirishima turns to Katsumi to see her looking away and covering her face with her hand. Nezu. You should be able to understand how she feels now. Shoko. If that is true, I have a question. Why does he think Endeavor was the one who gave him that injury? Nezu. If you'll wait, I'll tell you. In any event, it seems he wasn't actually killed. He was abducted and a fake corpse was left in his place. Momo. Abducted? By who? Nezu. I'm afraid I can't tell you. That information is classified to the police and only a select few. Aizawa here doesn't even know. Anyways, he was abducted and indoctrinated into the so-called League of Villains. He's received various augmentations to his body and had been brainwashed by someone. His memories were erased and replaced by fake ones, turning him into the bloodthirsty killer you see today. Enki? What? Very. That just sounds like something straight out of an action movie. Pitsumi. Who did this? Nezu? Pitsumi. Who the hell did this? Why would they do any of this to Deku? Nezu. As I've said before, we're not allowed to reveal to anyone the identity of the one responsible. As for why Mr. Midoriya of all people was abducted, we ourselves aren't sure. Perhaps it was simply opportunity, or perhaps there was some deeper meaning. We won't understand it for a while. Tenya. Sir, forgive me for speaking up, but be all that as it may, he's still a villain. He shouldn't be here. Nezu. Normally, I'd agree with you, but this situation unfortunately cannot proceed in such a manner. All Might himself has suggested the possibility that his original memories and personality are actually still intact and can be recovered. He's exhibited strong emotional reactions when confronted with his past. In almost all instances he'll react violently against it, however he's displayed passive reactions such as crying for his mother who he claims not to care about. Zero. Okay, that still doesn't explain why he's here. Nezu. Izuku Midoriya was known to be a hero fanatic, one might say he idolized them. He's here in this hero academy in the hopes that being here will bring out his real self. Shoji. You can't be serious. Aizawa. I'm afraid we are. Bakugo, he seems the most aggravated when interacting with you. If you actually want to bring the real him back, it'd be in your best interest to avoid interacting with him as much as possible. Pitsumi. TCH, fine. Aizawa. Good, and Uraraka. Ichako. Why yes. Aizawa. He seems to be less aggressive towards you for some reason. I want you to try and reason with him. Ichako. Oh okay. Nezu. We're not asking you to take pity on him or befriend him, just try and prove to us that he can still be saved and that what we're doing isn't pointless. The class looks amongst themselves. They're all hesitant on proceeding with the plan. Among all of them, only Katsumi and Ichako have their resolves already steeled. Meanwhile, in the staff room. Izuku. Enough with the small talk. Just tell me what it is you want. Currently, Izuku and Toga are sitting across from All Might who's in his skinny form. All Might. I see you're not exactly the patient type. Very well. We need to have a discussion about your quirk. Izuku. Be more specific, I've got a full deck of them. All Might. You know what I'm referring to. I'm talking about what is, or at least was one for all. Toga. What do you mean was? All Might. We haven't had a chance to talk about it since the incident the other day, but it looks like one for all was altered when you inherited it. Those red veins that appeared on your body are a clear sign of one for all, but those black ones and that shockwave were something I'd never seen before. Do you have any idea what it could have been? Izuku. When certain quirks interact with each other because of all for one, they'll combine if their abilities are compatible and form a far more powerful ability. That's most likely what's going on. Toga. Well then what did one for all combine with? Izuku proceeds to roll up his sleeve and hold out his right arm. He closes his eyes and tries his best to focus. His arm becomes wrapped in red and black veins. His arm starts shaking and discharging power that can be felt by Toga and All Might. Izuku grabs his frantically shaking arm with his free hand and bites into his shoulder. His entire arm quickly freezes. Izuku lets go and pulls his teeth out. His arm thaws and it returns completely to normal. Izuku. That just proved it. All Might. Proved what? Izuku. Just now, I tried to use All for One, and that happened. This shows that the quirk One for All combined with his All for One. All Might. You gotta be kidding me. Izuku. This doesn't make sense. One for All is a stockpile quirk, it bears no similarities to All for One. They shouldn't mesh together like this. Toga. Maybe there's something you're missing. Something about your quirk that the big boss forgot to mention. Izuku. Maybe. All Might. So this is the result of One for All and All for One combining. If he got his hands on this, there's no telling what hell he could unleash in any event. We've now discovered the two different pieces of this new ultra-powerful quirk. However, with ultra power, there's bound to be a plus ultra risk to using it. You may not like it, but if you want to learn how to use whatever this quirk is, you'll need my help. I've had the experience using One for All, I can show you how to master it. Izuku. Sigh, it's not like I have a choice here. But let's keep this strictly professional. All Might. Sure, as long as you let me help you. I have 1 year to make you see the light. I promise, I will not fail you. Meanwhile, League of Villains hideout. In the hallway to the living quarters of the League members, Rin can be seen sneaking into her room. Well, if it isn't Rin. Looking ahead, Rin can see none other than Tamura standing ahead. Tamura. Just the girl I was looking for. Rin. Tamura, leave me alone. Tamura. Oh, come on now, don't be like that. I just want to talk. Rin. Yeah, well, go find someone else to talk to. Rin says angrily as she enters her room and slams the door behind her. Tamura. Alright, I see you're in a mood. I guess I'll just go talk to Water. I heard he made a real interesting deal with you the other day. Without so much as 2 seconds passing by, the door quickly flings open with Rin bursting through it. Rin. How do you know about? Rin suddenly goes dead silent as she feels something pressed up against her stomach. Tamura. I have my ways of knowing, but don't worry, I won't say anything to Sensei. That is, as long as you help me out. Rin looks down in horror to see 4 of Tamura's fingers touching her belly, with the 5th hovering above it. Tamura. All that trouble to protect something that small. I know I could never threaten you into helping me out, but that little parasite born out of your Stockholm Syndrome will probably give me results. Remember Rin, 5 fingers is all it takes to end a life. Rin. What do you want from me? Tamura. Add a girl. There's a black and orange notebook that belonged to the brat, bring it to me. Tamura removes his fingers from Rin's stomach and stares her in the eye. Rin lowers her head and steps back into the room. After a moment, she comes out holding a notebook. Rin. Here. Rin says as she hands the notebook over to Tamura. Tamura, my thanks Rin. Of course, it should go without saying that if you speak a single word about this, I'll immediately out you and turn that hellspawn to dust. Rin. What are you trying to do with that? Tamura. Everyone's completely against me here. I'm like a wolf in a bear's den. The only way I can survive here is if I gather allies of my own and form a pack. And I've got a feeling that I'll find the perfect choices right in here. Tamura says with a smirk behind his hand mask as he raises the notebook. On the cover is written potential league recruits and 2 large stickers pasted on it that says caution and rejected. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.